President Trump. The House Speaker vows to pass a bill raising the nation's borrowing limit if there's a cap on future federal spending.
In a speech at the New York Stock Exchange, Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy called American debt
Hello, friends. Now you can hear us.
Yeah, you can hear us. Can you see us, though?
I think so.
Sweet. Hey, look, there's us.
So I am Brad Range.
And I'm Ryan Wiggins.
And
that's a lie.
We are here to introduce the Monday show to you, which is already pretty full. So
huge
pretty
show
good.
Today.
Go ahead, you can do the first guest.
Yeah, big show today. We're gonna have Brian Westbrook he's the executive director and founder of Coalition Life. He's gonna come in and he's gonna talk to us about the March on the Arch. It's a pro-life march, and he's gonna tell us all about that.
Then right after that, I want to introduce to you a new concept with Wiggins America. It is called the Monday Roundup. I'm going to bring to you stuff that maybe slipped through the cracks over the weekend, news, kind of some fun stuff, but definitely some news stuff too, and we're going to kind of go round robin on quite a bit of it. So I got some sound, got to figure out how to play that. I think we got it figured out, but first time we're doing it, so you'll be here for it.
Then at 107, we're going to talk to Steve Moore. Kevin McCarthy made some big announcements today about the debt ceiling, and we're probably going to get his thoughts about some of that stuff and why that's an important thing. Does the United States need to raise the debt ceiling? Will the United States default on debt? These are all questions that we can't answer, so we're going to go to the heritage expert on the economy, and we're going to ask Steve Moore some of these questions.
Then Matt Whitaker.
Yeah, then at 125, Matt Whitaker, former acting Attorney General of the United States. You guys might remember he was in studio a while back. He's going to talk to us about the Trump indictment, and that's going to be at 125. So make sure you are in or buy a radio or buy an app or on YouTube so you can catch that interview. It's going to be a good one.
The poll today, as you're seeing scrolling below us, is how do you feel about Bud Light? A, never drinking AB products again, like a permanent boycott for you. B is nothing, you're not going to change anything, just fine. And C, at least temporary boycott, not purchasing for now. So let us know, because this thing is not going away.
No. It's got some staying power. And we want your thoughts on it, so make sure you tell us why or why not, or why you chose what you chose in the comments, and then Hannah can star those comments and read those at the end of the show, and we can report it all to you. And that's the pre-show.
That's the pre-show, so thanks for being here early. Appreciate it.
Then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you hate standing on concrete floors because of foot, knee, or low back pain?
I couldn't stand on hard surfaces. The pain would get so severe that I couldn't stand it.
Tired of living in pain?
I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day.
You need comfort in your life.
Now I have no foot pain and I can wear any dress shoe that I want.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. Ladies, you can now be comfortable in your favorite high heels. Good Feet. No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations. On Olive, west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet Store.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
When children were being fatally injured by window blind cords, Honor Law took on the manufacturers to have dangerous cords banned.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618-900,000.
When you're trying to hire and fill jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that make it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The people also side with us on wanting to see an economy where businesses focus on their core missions rather than indulging in woke political activism. And what you see happening, and look, some of it's annoying, some of it they're virtue signaling, and it is grating, and honestly, I think, what's going on here, you see Bud Light and doing all this stuff. But some of this stuff, I think, is really insidious. When you look at movements like ESG, environment, social governance, what they are trying to do is they're trying to hijack corporate power in order to advance an ideological agenda.
So, Governor Ron DeSantis, picking up where we left off last week with that Bud Light controversy. Are you sick and tired of Bud Light at this point in time? Even the conversation and discussing it? Well, we're going to discuss it a little bit, but in a broader context. And I like what Governor Ron DeSantis is saying right there, because this is all about political capital. And we've said this last week. I've said this many times before, that when Bud Light makes a decision like they did before, they're selling virtue that comes with a beer. The beer is not what they're selling anymore. They're selling you the idea that if you drink Bud Light, then you are doing something good for the world instead of just enjoying a great beer for yourself. I get it. Some of you love Bud Light. Some of you can't stand it. I don't like beer, so it's not my go-to drink. It is what it is for me. Hard to boycott something I'm not buying anyway. My husband is a Bud Light drinker and an AB drinker, and I know that he and many other people have been looking at what's going on and saying, like, whatever happened to just selling beer? Well, welcome to the Annie Frey Show. We're going to talk about this today, and I'm going to talk about it in the context broader than Bud Light. It's everything that is out there right now. Everywhere you look, what you purchase, what you buy, it says something about you. I remember taking advertising classes in my communications courses when I was working through to get my communications degree, and the idea that you could sell something that was bigger than your product is a key way of advertising and marketing. They've always done this. They've always tried to sell you something that made you feel sexier or made you feel stronger or made you look more attractive. They were selling you the emotion that goes along with the product. Now we have Bud Light coming out, and they're back to doing what they're used to doing, which is selling you patriotism. Lots of companies, lots of businesses go down this aisle of making people feel warm and fuzzies about the land that they call home. Is there anything wrong with that? I don't necessarily think that is, but in my mind, that's supposed to be a unifying message. Who in America doesn't want to see the stars and stripes waving over different parts of our country and go, yeah, that's right, America, cheers, crack the beer open, share it with friends? This is where this issue is bigger than Bud Light. It's bigger than Nike. It's bigger than Colin Kaepernick. It's bigger than Disney or Super Mario Brothers and Chris Pratt. And you're saying, Annie, what are you talking about? We'll just put a pin in those different things. when Bud Light follows the lead of what everybody else is doing right now, it's so interesting that this is the way Bud Light went, because I think that is where people thought you should have known better. I don't think people look at Nike and go, you should know better than that. It's what you expect from Nike. They've completely and totally shifted over their idea of what people want to feel when they purchase products. Nike's given themselves over to that. And people have purchased Nike products because of that. Bud Light, though, why Bud Light? And this is why what this country did to react, or the world really, is a massive company. The question that this all boils down to is, what can we collectively be proud of? The marketing exec that was talking about how Bud Light had her words were that Bud Light had a real problem. She referred to it as a situation that was like on the tables. Get the paddles out, because this brand is dying. It's going to be dead unless I resurrect it. This is incredibly telling for people like you and me on the other side of the advertisements that we consume without even thinking about the fact that we're consuming it. She knew that right now in this moment in culture, that the way to save a dying brand is to do what? Where do we go? We go to the idea of tolerance, inclusion, inclusivity, or whatever we're saying it today. It was just this weekend I was following a car and it had a coexist bumper sticker. And isn't it interesting how if you were driving around with a coexist sticker in the mid-90s, that was super progressive. The idea that you would have COEXIST, 7 letters on a bumper sticker, all reflecting different religions or cultures or whatever, all in one word, and that you could coexist. That's actually kind of a traditional liberal way of looking at the world and culture that I can kind of subscribe to. But 20, 30 years ago, that was a pretty progressive bumper sticker to put on your car. It is not enough today for you to coexist with people who believe different things than you do. That is, in fact, intolerant. And if you don't want to be intolerant, is the solution to be tolerant? It isn't. Tolerance isn't enough either. It's not enough to coexist with people who don't agree with you. It's not enough to tolerate people who don't agree with you. You must not only accept those people who aren't exactly like you, you must prove to everybody with repetition that you accept, approve, and endorse everything that they, capital T, tell you that you have to accept, approve of, and endorse. Which is why, and I really want to simplify this for people who are scratching their heads, going, why would Bud Light do this? They thought they'd make money off of it. Listen to the VP in her own words.
I'm a businesswoman. I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. And it was, this brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. So I had this super clear mandate. It's like, we need to evolve and elevate this incredibly iconic brand. And what I brought to that was a belief in, okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. It means having a campaign that's truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men.
The first thing she says there when she's on this podcast talking about how did you come to the decision to put a beer can in Dylan Mulvaney's hand with Dylan Mulvaney's face on the can? How did you get there? The first thing she says is that she's a businesswoman. It's an important part of this whole conversation. Why? Because you have to understand that she is going into AB, Anheuser-Busch, and she is supposed to take what she referred to as an iconic brand that's been dying for a while. And the way to restore everything and to bring this iconic brand back to life is through inclusivity. How did that brand become so iconic in the past? What are the things that were done by her forefathers, probably mothers, whatever they identified as? What are the things that the people who are in charge of this brand brought to that brand to make it iconic? Because that doesn't just happen. It has to be built and created and cared for. She shows up because the brand is in decline, and her response, or the business is in decline. Her response is to go inclusivity. This is what the people in boardrooms think that consumers want to have, want to connect themselves with, want to accessorize themselves with. And don't think for a second that they aren't trying to make the beer can in your hand at a baseball game or at an event or a party. The beer can, what they are trying to sell to you is that you are saying something about yourself by choosing that beer can. Right now, the people who are getting into these boardrooms, who are probably millennials, they're probably, I felt like I read somewhere that she was 33 years old or something. She's probably older than that. But these people who are making these decisions right now have been coddled, have been made to feel as though the solution to hate is the solution to every problem. And that everywhere you look right now exists hate, that hate is the default. The only way that people feel obligated to put a sign in their front yard that lists everything that's good about what is in this home is if they feel like not saying that indicates that, yeah, some of these things might be true here. Better put the sign in my yard so people know I'm not the worst person walking on the face of the planet. Like my neighbor who doesn't have the sign. They're the worst, not me. There was a movie that came out. Disney released it last year. And this story it makes me laugh out loud. I laughed out loud when I read the story for the first time. This movie that was put out is called Strange World. Hannah, have you ever heard of the movie? If you've heard of this, I'm gonna lose.
No, I haven't.
I was gonna say
Not at all.
You're the most novice when it comes to Disney, I think, on the show. But the idea that Strange World was supposed to be this big event, and when Disney does a big event, they do it really big. They don't mess around. They make sure that you know that this is the next Disney movie that you need to go see, that you fall in love with the characters, that you buy the merchandise, blah, 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 on and on and on and on. So the movie Strange World comes out. This is right after Lightyear. We've talked about that on this show. And it's received the worst audience score in the animation studio's history.
Whoa.
Listen to some of these statistics here. And this is from a website called The Direct. And it says, according to Deadline, Strange World was the biggest box office bomb of 2022 and lost Disney an estimated $152.4 million in total after deducting the revenue of $165 million. It made $165. They spent over $317 million on this film. Now, I haven't seen Strange World myself. I've never been motivated to watch it. I was shocked when it came out and I heard this big blockbuster was failing because, listen, I get served the algorithm of Disney News. I know these things. I didn't know about Strange World. I don't know where all that money went. The stories that I do know about it is that the lead character is an LGBTQ character and that the majority of the show kind of puts that front and center, but they forgot to write a story about this person. The people who are reacting in what I almost consider to be the best of reviewers is the people who are in like Disney Facebook community groups that are just total fans of the company, talking about how terrible this movie was. Because, you know, a lot of people were saying, I don't have a problem if the character is gay, but what was this person doing? Disney thought that they could put in $317+ million into a story that just had a gay character in it, and people would flock to the theaters. Bud Light, and this VP more specifically, thought that they could put a beer can in Dylan Mulvaney's hand with Dylan Mulvaney's face on the beer can, and that people would flock to buy their beer. Nike thinks that they can put a sports bra on Dylan Mulvaney, who doesn't even have boobs, and that women are going to run to buy sports bras because they feel like this is such a profitable place to put money right now because culture nowhere else has been willing to stand up and push back. You know what is interesting in this whole story here? Deadline, which is a website that reports on a lot of entertainment. The Super Mario Brothers movie barrels to $678 million worldwide. The Super Mario Brothers movie opened domestically with $87 million. We are in a position right now where all that I have heard and consumed from Super Mario Brothers is that Chris Pratt, that should be a key word here, Chris Pratt, who is famous for being the worst Chris, who's a Christian, who met his wife at church, who's a Kennedy, and who puts Bible verses on his social media, has been wildly successful in the Guardians of the Galaxy and also Parks and Rec and all of these other things. Chris Pratt continues to be massively successful. The Jurassic World series, the dude is doing great things, and he just continues to be Christian. He continues to show and consider himself to be a gun, Second Amendment supporting hunter, somebody who loves the wild outdoors. You are supposed to hate Chris Pratt in the same world that you love Bud Light for what they did, or Disney for what they did. The biggest thing against Chris Pratt when it came to the Super Mario Brothers is, guess what? That he wasn't Italian enough to voice Mario. I have never, ever looked at an animated movie and been like, oh, I don't know. Like, how Norwegian was Idina Menzel when she was voicing Elsa? Did people look into that? I don't know. Maybe she's like 100% Norwegian. You look at Chris Pratt, he's supposed to be a failure here. And the movie does wonderfully. Maybe it's a much better movie. Maybe they did better at marketing. But people are going to continue to vote with their dollars, to vote with their feet. People are doing that with Bud Light right now. I don't know that that's going to last forever. I don't know that the boycott so far has done enough if you're trying to send a message. I do know that there are Republicans who are worried about Bud Light, which is a big, strong GOP donor, and upsetting them to where maybe that apple cart gets turned over. Your influence on all of these things matter. The dollars at the end of the day will matter, but they have to be based on principles. Principles that you stand for, not that anybody has convinced you that by wearing or supporting or using some sort of service, that when you do that, now everybody else out there can see how good I am inside. Instead, let's just be good inside. And let's put our passions and our time and our effort and our dollars into those services that exemplify the things that we care about and are passionate about. Right now, I think conservatives are in a cycle where they are waiting for Republicans to get elected into office to fix everything. Waiting for government to change to fix your problems is not a conservative message. And the second thing is blaming the fact that we don't have the elected leaders in office that we would like to see make effective change into your own inaction and lack of participation into making a specific situation better. It's clear to me when I look at these types of stories that America's heart is still where I feel like my heart is. I can relate to it. I understand it. It makes sense to me. But it's not the talking heads. It's not the people in front of the cameras. It's you that matters. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. And today's YouTube live chat poll is about how do you feel about Bud Light? Never drinking AB products again? Just fine with no concern, or not purchasing for now? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and join us there and let us know what you think. Lots of comments that are going to be coming in that we are going to want to read for you. So get yours in today. Stick around. We're going to speak with Brian Westbrook. He's the executive director and founder of Coalition Life. He's going to talk to us about a big event coming up. So stick around. Brian Westbrook in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
And I'll take care of you along the way. My love, one day at a time, will leave our troubles behind.
Building a house in Illinois? Well, try C.A. Jones. Go online to cajonesinc.com and you will see beautiful homes that are ready to buy right now. Brand new builds, new construction builds that you can purchase and just start your dream home living right away. If you are looking to customize a home exactly to your specific needs, they have a whole bunch of different layouts that you can pick from and customize to be your personal taste, your flavor, your experience of living in a home where you have everything where you need it to be. C.A. Jones is invested in that. They're also invested in their communities. This is kind of what I've been talking about, making sure that you're spending your time and your efforts in reinvesting in those things that are so important to making your community strong. For C.A. Jones, that means they're proud military and first responder supporters, and they offer veterans, active, and first responder specials on new homes, solar, and remodels. They also offer solar to new and existing homes. You can receive an instantaneous payback on your solar savings, to the thousands on a 4.2 kilowatt solar system. If you're looking to build a home in Illinois, go with C.A. Jones. cajonesinc.com.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
Are you thankful for the first responders in your community? Then nominate a local department and let us feed them a great meal. Compliments of Grill Master Tony Stone. Mark Cox here. Visit 971talk.com/contests and nominate someone today.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
And I think the most important point right now is that regardless of this opinion, mifepristone remains extraordinarily safe. We have decades of data to suggest it is a very, very safe medication and is essential healthcare for people who need abortion care, as well as other healthcare like miscarriage management. And so this ruling, which is filled with biased and very politically motivated language, is incredibly upsetting and is really impacting the way that physicians are able to care for their patients.
So there has been a lot of news lately here in the abortion world with the lawsuits that are taking place with the abortion pill. Did you know that in places across this country, you can just have a pill mailed to you so you can have an abortion at home safely and comfortably in your own house? That's where we are right now. And it's not really safe. It certainly isn't safe for the baby, but it's not even safe for the woman. The abortion game has changed. Roe v. Wade was overturned, and the fight went from being a whole national fight against this federal Supreme Court ruling to 50 individual states, 50 individual battlegrounds. And the idea of being informed and active has never, ever, ever been more important than it is right now. Brian Westbrook joins us. He's an executive director and founder of Coalition Life, which you can learn about at coalitionlife.com. Brian, thank you for coming on here today. I'm excited to talk to you about the March on the Arch.
Yes, it's an honor to be on the show. Good to be with you, Annie.
I appreciate that. So first and foremost, before we get to the event, I want you to talk to me about Coalition Life and how you became a founder of this and moved into this idea of March on the Arch and being involved in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was first and foremost invited out to the now closed down St. Louis abortion facility, or at least they're no longer doing abortions here in Missouri. And I thought it was kind of crazy to go out to an abortion facility and actually pray for an end to abortion. But I was invited, so eventually I said yes. And as I experienced a woman leave in tears, and that was the first of many, many women I saw leaving in tears from these abortion facilities. And so one thing led to another. We launched a prayer vigil. And then eventually I left my job at an engineering firm to start Coalition Life 2.5 years later. And since then, we've seen 3,500 women leave those abortion facilities and choose life for their children. So it's been an honor to serve so many years now.
It's amazing to hear you say that and see how you've been led to this moment in time where you're a part of helping women in this moment. And, Brian, I'm really high on this right now because you probably know that I live in Illinois. And if you're comparing, the east side of the Mississippi to the west side of the Mississippi, it shows exactly right here in St. Louis how important these state laws are in protecting life or preserving abortion. And I can't live my life as an Illinois resident sitting here waiting for Republicans to take over in the state of Illinois or for Democrats to start to value life. There is work to be done from people who have no political experience, no aspiration to be an elected official. There are still ways that people like me and those listening right now can go participate in something like the March on the Arch. When is this happening, and how can anybody be involved in it?
Absolutely. March on the Arch, you can get all the details at stlmarch.com. It's Saturday, April 29th, right outside of Union Station here in St. Louis, Missouri at 11 a.m. We have a full lineup of speakers, including Matthew Harrison, the president of the Lutheran Church Missouri Senate, and many others. And then we do a 1-mile march down to the Arch. So part of that, we're just talking about, you mentioned Illinois, SB 1909, which basically, as it's written, would eliminate almost all of the 90-plus pregnancy centers and pro-life organizations in the state of Illinois and give the Attorney General a lot of power. So we're going to be addressing that, and we're also going to be addressing the referendum votes that potentially could bring abortion back to the state of Missouri.
What is the situation right now in Missouri? As a heartbeat state, as I understand it, and there's been a lot of pro-life progressive movements and where Missouri is led on this issue. What do you want people to know right now who are living in this red state?
Yeah, absolutely. In the state of Missouri, we were the very first to sign what's called a trigger ban on abortion. So about 10 minutes after the Dobbs decision last year, I believe the Attorney General signed the trigger ban, which outlawed abortions at all stages of pregnancy. And so, however, there are 11 referendum vote petitions that were just sent to the Secretary of State, which basically would give abortionists all immunity. It would remove and reverse all of the different protections that have been set in place by the General Assembly. It would remove all of those and also make it difficult for pregnancy centers to operate. And not only that, but it really puts a lot of that woke culture into a lot of these different petitions. And it's a huge threat because, unfortunately, a lot of these referendums votes lose. So we need to be careful about this one and watching it very closely.
Oh, I want to know coalitionlife.com. I want people to visit this website and learn about what you've done there. We're speaking with Brian Westbrook, who is the executive director and founder of Coalition Life. But the importance, aside from the legislative influence and the lobbying and the visual of a massive march that starts, as you said, at Union Station and marches the mile to the arch, the idea that people who care about life, who value life, and who want to stand up and speak for life, that these people understand the importance of loving these women who are in this situation at this time and understanding there's a ton of pressure politically that surrounds these issues. There needs to be exponentially more love surrounding these women who do have the power to choose life.
Yeah, absolutely. So we also run a pregnancy center here in the St. Louis area, and it is incredibly important that we reach out to these women and provide real, tangible resources. And that's what 75 other pregnancy centers in the state of Missouri, along with many of our church bodies, are doing to actually protect and defend these women and also these children. So that's our first and foremost calling, is to directly help these women and, of course, the fathers who get tossed to the sidelines and give them a window into the womb. So many different groups have now provided ultrasound machines for these pregnancy centers and volunteered countless hours for these pregnancy centers. It's important for us to lift them up and go out into the public sphere and say that we stand up for life and we stand up for these mothers and for these children.
Brian, so walk me through it. STLmarch.com, that's where I go to register. What happens next?
Absolutely. STLmarch.com. If it's a free registration, you're welcome to attend at 11 a.m. There's a whole lineup of speakers from 11 to 12 a.m. on April 29th. Or if you like a premium registration, you get a lot of goodies in a backpack as well. And then at noon, we'll be taking this huge group of people from Union Station all the way down to the St. Louis Arch.
I'm going to try to make it, Brian. I'm not 100% sure that I'm free yet, but I'm going to try to make it. I'd love to be a part of it. And thank you for what you're doing, because it takes people like you stepping up and being in support of this and helping bring these people together, especially, if anything, to show each other that there are a lot of us who feel this way, and people feel empowered when they're surrounded in numbers like what you are doing for the STLmarch.com. That's where people need to go march on the arch. Brian, thank you for the time today. We're really grateful for it. Thank you for what you're doing.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Brian Westbrook, Executive Director and founder of Coalition Life. CoalitionLife.com to learn more about that. And you can visit and register at STLmarch.com. I'll keep you updated on my involvement in that. Stick around. We're going to take a quick break. Wiggins America. When we come back, he's going to round up the weekend and tell us what we missed. And he'll have all the details right here on the Annie Frey Show when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Everybody needs someone beside them, shining like a from the sea.
Having somebody that can walk you through that transitionary period when it comes to saving for retirement, you've saved and saved and saved and saved and saved, and then you saved a little bit more. And all of those savings, that comes with sacrifice. You get to the point where in your late 50s, maybe your early 60s, and you're like, hey, I really want to live up this retirement. I've worked so hard, but I'm kind of freaking out. I'm looking around and I'm going, with this economy, do I feel safe? Do I feel comfortable? Can I even retire? Thomas Helbig. He's your guy. Retirement Advisor Group. Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw. These are the people who can sit down with you for free to talk to you about what the retirement advisory can do for you. You schedule your appointment with them. You talk to them about where you are and what you've done, and they talk to you about what they can do for you and how they have never had a client lose a penny. And you come to the decision to work with them or you don't. It's up to you. Sit down and make that appointment right now. And when you call them, mention the Annie Frey Show when you do. 314-993-9494. You call them at 314-993-9494 and book that appointment today. You're going to get a copy of their second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. You can also go online to retirementkey.com.
The once-a-year jewelry event everyone waits for is here. Starting Friday, Diamonds Direct takes value to a whole new level with an extra 20% savings on just about everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement ring mountings included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Diamonds Direct store-wide spring event starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brenton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brenton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brentonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brenton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at brentonvision.com.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service offers insulation services. Did you know 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated? Increase your energy savings and comfort with better insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52. Lying awake intently tuning in on you. If I was young, it didn't stop you coming through. They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine on new technology. And now I understand the problems you could see. I met your children. What did you tell them?
Good job.
You like that?
I do, actually. I'm a big fan.
Monday Roundup, yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, so we'll see if this
As long as you promise we don't have to talk about the intro every Monday for like 5 minutes.
Oh,
We can
well-
talk about it for 5 minutes now because that was good.
Yeah, this one we definitely need to address.
We should listen to it again.
Okay.
I
People
think we
might not have
probably
been able to
should. Yeah,
soak up that
take
that
in what is
Wiggins
happening.
America was a...
Wiggins!
Yeah. Wait for it. Yeehaw!
There you go.
Man, I hope this segment is good.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because man, that's a lot to live up to. That was a great sounder. Whoever made that, thank you.
It's good to know where you set the bar.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
high.
tough sounder to live up to.
It
he
is.
said.
It is. But what we've got here is kind of a new feature I'd like to do. We'll see how it goes today, and if it goes well, we'll do it every Monday. Or something like that.
Just do it.
This is the Monday Roundup. Stories you may have missed over the weekend that I just sort of want to sweep the rug and make sure we're getting everything. This one caught my attention. It is 4 out of the 5 major metro areas in the U.S. with the lowest unemployment are in Florida. Anybody surprised by that? 4 out of the 5 U.S.
No.
metropolitan areas with the lowest unemployment rates, all in Florida, thanks to the state's growing population, robust tourism activity, and increased business investment.
I
Nobody
thought
talks about that third
Maybe
one
it was
very much.
because everybody there was retired.
That's also very possible.
I don't understand because I'm not smart enough, and I'm just putting it out there. Anytime we talk about unemployment, I hear Republicans. It doesn't matter if it's employment is quote good or quote bad. Republicans and Democrats are always happy. Nothing changes. They don't ever do anything to change anything. They just explain why the current news story is good for them.
That's very true. Nobody's changing their policies based on these numbers.
If you have 100 people living in a community and 10 of them are of working age and 9 out of 10 of them are working and the other 90 are retired,
those people aren't looking for work.
they're not looking for work, then the unemployment rate, I'm just saying if that's one person who's not working, who is looking for work, but 100 people there, you can't run a society off of one person working.
Right.
Or
right.
not working,
Which is
whatever.
why the unemployment rate itself is a weird number because it only counts people who are looking for work. But if you're not looking, it doesn't count you. Of those 5 cities, though, that have the lowest unemployment rate at the moment, Miami is number 1, tied with Birmingham, Alabama.
Interesting that Miami is doing so well and they just voted Republican for the first time.
Isn't it? And all of the quote-unquote increased business investment that is moving to that state, and a lot of it is to Miami. But the other cities that round out the top 5 outside of Birmingham and Miami are Jacksonville, Florida, Tampa, Florida, and Orlando, Florida.
Bye.
All below 3% at about 2.7%. So a lot of reasons for that, but they say the in-migration with Florida is what's causing so much of this. People are all going there for a lot of reasons, but one of them is always got good work and good weather, and there's a lot of money there now.
It's interesting that you would pick that story because I don't know if I did set it aside. I got suggested a Yahoo story that was 6 reasons why you don't want to move to Florida.
Oh, of course.
And I was like, oh, come on. So I looked at it and I could argue with every single one of their points.
Of course.
Is it surprising at all how much backlash we're seeing against Florida right now, or is that to be expected?
No, that people need to stop. People need to stop being mad at the backlash. You need to pay attention to where the backlash is because that's where success is happening and replicate it.
I was thinking about that article you were saying is like reasons you shouldn't move to Florida. That article is targeted toward the people that we don't want moving to Florida.
Yeah.
So send more, write
you-
more, send
you
it to them.
shouldn't move to Florida. That's exactly right.
You are going to hate it.
I knew when Jimmy Kimmel started taking shots at Ron DeSantis about 1.5 years ago that something was going right in Florida. Here we go. All right, next story. You like that?
That was great.
Next story is...
I do like it. Tighter next time.
Okay. Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah, you got 7 minutes.
A man who reportedly threw $200,000 out of a moving car on an Oregon interstate said that he just wanted to bless others with the cash.
Wow.
That's all he was doing.
Bless his heart.
He just wanted to bless people. Colin Davis McCarthy.
He was
who's-
also running from a bank robbery.
I don't know. Actually, it says that he's 38. He was identified by Oregon State Police as the man who tossed money out on Interstate 5. And then, here's the best part. Several random bystanders experienced a windfall.
Well, honestly, if you gave $200,000 to that guy and $200,000 to the government, I think taking my chances with the guy throwing it out the window.
Right?
You just got to run on the freeway.
There you go.
I know. It was a good point. I have a hard time arguing with it. I was going to make fun of this guy, and now Annie's like, no, actually, she's doing a better job than the government.
It's all about where you set the bar.
And she's right. But what's funny is that just those roughly seven people who happen to be standing there, they got the vast majority of this cash. And then they said the
Right place, right time.
The Oregon police are saying, please, they've had traffic jams on this for days because people are all pulling over looking to see if they can find money.
Do we know the denomination that he released?
It doesn't say. It just says total $200,000.
If it's $200,000 in $1 bills, 2 days later, 3 days later, I'm not paying attention. If it's
tens,
these are
20s,
Benjamins
or hundreds,
no joke.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going right now because you could find one of those, it'd be worth your time.
Yeah.
But the reason this even made the news is because of the problems afterward. The initial thing wouldn't have even made it, but all the people stopping to try to get the money.
Of course, the good news wouldn't have made it.
Well, hang on now. It's not just good news because apparently.
Where'd the money come from?
Where'd the money come
from? 10 of those new IRS agents are now standing on that street, like looking to audit the people who are out there.
Right.
You're going to need to give me one of those bills. Thank you.
According to the local news station, McCarthy, Colin Davis McCarthy is his name, actually got the money by draining his family's shared accounts, leaving them penniless.
Is that bad?
I guess if you like your family.
I need to know more about the family.
As the bills flew out over the roadway, they told state troopers it was just typical behavior for McCarthy. Quote, the family says that even though the odds are long, they're asking anyone who found any cash to please return it to the Oregon State Police because the money is very much needed by the family.
You know what's not happening?
Yeah.
But take a wild guess. So you're not going to see a lot of that money.
Oh, that guy. He typically steals $200,000 from his family. It just is normal.
I want to know the tea. They must have done something to really.
They're going to get a show. We're going to know the tea, and then we're going to wish we didn't know the tea. And for the people who aren't as hip and cool as I am to know what the tea means, that means the scoop.
I was going to ask that.
411, the
I'm
details.
glad that you gave that.
This tea's hot.
But I'm going to tease that let's do at 1:45. I will give you the 7 reasons. It wasn't 6. There's one more reason why you do not want to retire to Florida. And we will see if this is a politically motivated Yahoo article. So you can stick around for that.
That sounds good.
You need to shave off a little bit on the audio
on
the
front.
end.
It's the wind up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's got to cock his arm
hear
back.
it.
Yeah, but it's kind of a visual thing and it's not a rating. But
is this the same guy that does the drums for X's
Yeah,
Nose?
it's Todd again.
Todd, he's got all the things. Todd.
Yeah, he's got drums and a whip and
Todd, the drummer and the whipper.
And a horse.
Snapper.
Also, if you heard the open. This story comes from the Morning Consult Survey. It is a new survey examining who Democrats would support in the 2024 election. It finds that Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Source again?
Morning Consult Survey. Okay. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is polling around 10% in this poll, but there's only 3 candidates, if you realize, and only 2 of them have actually declared that they're running. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Marianne Williamson, and then they're just assuming Joe Biden. They didn't say how she's doing. I would assume that she's probably a little bit low. I mean, I wouldn't guess that she's gained from her last run.
These same people would say 10% RFK. He's being a legitimate contender you need to consider. But look at Ron DeSantis' numbers. They're like, he's done. He's finished. He'll amount to nothing.
Well, I just want to see Kennedy on the debate stage. I mean, I just want to see him cause problems and bring up some really good points on a variety of topics.
You might on the VP stage as Trump's running mate.
You think?
No, I hope not.
Do you really think?
No, people say that.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
Twitter people.
I don't think that's going to happen. Especially
Does that diminish my respect for what you say if you're a Twitter person? Absolutely.
I was waiting for the knot and it didn't come.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay, last story. Here we go. Yep. All right. First Lady Melania Trump.
I actually want you to add more pause to the beginning of that now. I think it's better. Oh, that was better.
There we go. First Lady Melania Trump's latest Twitter posts were likely to be written entirely by AI, according to GPT-0.
Better than Michelle Obama. Was it determined that she really did lift that whole, like, when she gave her speech at the convention that she lifted the whole thing from Michelle Obama, or she gave paragraphs that were Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember, and I think it was pretty conclusive that she had at least pulled parts of it.
It was word for word in some cases. Granted, she had speechwriters. Melania didn't sit down and go, gosh, can somebody Google good first lady speeches and then copy paste like I did in 2000 with a biology paper that Miss Gillespie busted me on, and I'm still feeling really bad about it.
Well, that's the question about this is, do you care? I mean, she's just writing tweets that are in AI, apparently. And I don't really understand why you would need to. They're not long. Maybe she's just doing it because of the English as a second language thing. I don't know. Like trying to write
Are you
more
saying
official
because she
English.
doesn't understand? No, she's proficient in English.
I know she
speaks
is.
like 6 languages.
But then why write such a short little thing?
Did you just suggest that maybe Melania Trump doesn't have command of the English language enough, so she's using ChatGPT?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
This is not the segment, but that is not okay.
Well,
that is not accurate.
Well, if it's your second language, why wouldn't you just ask an AI program to polish it? I mean, it seems like
She's
something normal to do.
proficient in English.
Well, that's my argument is why is she doing it in the first place then?
Because we're talking, you did another segment about educators trying to figure out how to teach kids how to use AI for
Yeah, but that's whole
life.
papers. This
That's
is like
worse.
280 characters.
That's worse. That's way worse. Oh, man. All right, Steve Moore and Matt Whitaker when we come back.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Purchasing a home can be a stressful situation, but when you get your mortgage taken care of through Stewart's American Mortgage, it becomes a lot more relaxing. He can get this done in less than 15 days. If you are looking to get the lowest rate you possibly can, Stewie can help you with that. If you're looking to not pay anything for closing costs, Stewie can help you with that. If you're looking to be able to generate your own pre-approval letters, once you get pre-approved, you go to his website, you get those pre-approval letters generated for you so that you can print them out and submit them for an offer right then, right there. You don't have to wait for a third party to accommodate you. Stewie's making you the most competitive buyer there is, and it's all through the bagel loan. If you want to save and not pay anything in closing costs, you got to go to Stewie and use the bagel loan. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Call him or text him and tell him that Annie sent you. You'll be very glad you did. He does refinances as well. I've done 2 with him. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A U.S. crackdown on repression by China. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Federal prosecutors just announcing cases involving Chinese government officials and China's national police.
The first 2 criminal complaints that I am announcing shed further light on the extent of the PRC government's efforts to project its authoritarian worldview on the residents of this city and this country.
U.S. Attorney Breon Pease says 2 men are under arrest and charged with helping to set up a secret police outpost in New York City's Chinatown neighborhood on behalf of the Chinese government. More than 30 officers of China's national police are also charged in absentia in that case, accused of targeting U.S. residents as part of a transnational repression scheme, harassing dissidents and silencing critics of the regime. The Justice Department also announcing charges against 8 Chinese government officials accused of directing a telecom company employee to remove Chinese dissidents from online forums. The search for answers continues in an Alabama town where 4 people were killed at a Sweet 16 party over the weekend. A coroner confirming 2 of the dead were high school seniors. The others were 19 and 23 years old.
Folks who live in town say the mass shooting has really gripped this community as people really try to make sense of what happened. Many came out to a vigil last night to honor the 4 victims who were killed and say a prayer for the 28 others who were injured when someone opened fire at a Sweet 16 birthday party late Saturday night. For most of Sunday, police focused their attention on Mahogany Masterpiece, the venue where the shooting happened, but so far investigators have not pointed to a suspect or motive.
Fox's Charles Watson in Dadeville. The White House just out with a statement urging an immediate ceasefire in Sudan, where 3 days of fighting between the army and paramilitary force has killed at least 97 civilians, millions more sheltering in their homes. America is listening to Fox News.
Could you use some extra help meeting basic needs? Like putting food on the table or paying the rent? Keeping your home warm and the lights on? Buying new shoes for growing feet? Or help with medical needs? Find out about the Supplemental Security Income Program, SSI, administered by Social Security. It's money you can use to help pay for basic needs like food, clothing, shelter, or medical needs. You could receive monthly SSI payments if your income and financial resources are low and you're 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability, or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI to learn more about SSI and start the application process today. That's ssa.gov/SSI. This message produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Still a little bit on the chilly side going through our Monday afternoon, and I think 62 will do it for the high. Tonight, clear skies. The winds stay with us for evening plans, die after midnight. Kind of a cold night, 41 degrees. Tuesday, cold start, sunny and warmer. Tuesday afternoon, 72 degrees. Wednesday, partly sunny. Maybe a couple of spotty showers, but a lot of dry time, 78. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here, which means you've made at least one great decision today. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we're looking for brave clients who've been injured and are ready to stand beside us in our fight to improve the safety of our community.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
If you are looking to make a purchase of a firearm, please consider going to my friends at STS Armory, sts-armory.com. You can look and walk in and you see the carry price that you have when they got the wall full of the different firearms they have available for purchase. The price you see is the price you pay. They are affordable. They are incredibly knowledgeable. They are incredibly helpful. They're not going to be pushy. They are going to take you when you walk in with whatever level of knowledge that you have regarding firearms, whether you're a very experienced, very knowledgeable hobbyist, or if you're somebody who's brand new to the idea and you're not even 100% sure you want to make a purchase, but you've been thinking about figuring out how to protect yourself or to protect your home. STS Armory is there to make that a possibility for you, and they have all of the classes available to you to make sure that you understand how to feel confident and be responsible with this right that you have. If you are looking to take a class or to make a purchase, you can call them at 618-931-4867 or go to sts-armory.com.
Hello, I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. I'm so proud that we've helped over 15,000 businesses claim over $5 billion in cash incentives. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. Every client is assigned a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, and your business might be entitled to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Businesses of all types can qualify, including medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert second opinion, and we do a lot of work for doctors. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. Getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Since the president continues to hide, House Republicans will take action. Okay, so here's our plan. In the coming weeks, the House will vote on a bill to lift the debt ceiling into the next year. Save taxpayers trillions of dollars, make us less dependent upon China, curb our high inflation, all without touching Social Security and Medicare. Simply put, it puts it on a fiscal responsible path in 3 ways. It limits, it saves, and it grows.
So the Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, talking about the debt ceiling, he also said, without exaggeration, American debt is a ticking time bomb that will detonate unless we take serious, responsible action. Steve Moore has been telling us about this each time that he's been on with us, a distinguished fellow in economics at Heritage, and with us for a minute right now. Steve, thank you for the time today. What do you think about this debt ceiling proposal by the Republicans?
Hey, Annie, good to be with you. In fact, I was just on Fox News debating Robert Wolf, my Democratic colleague, who basically was saying, we should have no negotiations on the debt ceiling and just, give Biden an unlimited credit card, which I think is incredibly reckless and irresponsible. So I'm not always with Kevin McCarthy, but on this one I am. I think he's doing exactly the right thing. He's basically saying, we have got I think you played that clip where he's saying this is like a ticking time bomb. And I believe he's right about that. I mean, my God, we have a $32 trillion debt right now, Annie, and it's headed under the Biden baseline to go up to $50 trillion. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I think that people don't always understand the debt ceiling. We talk about it as like a credit card limit and being able to increase your own credit card limit. What do you want American taxpayers to know about the debt ceiling?
Well, it's the total amount of money that we borrowed, mostly over the last 20 years, and $6 trillion of it is under Biden in 2 years. So Biden's basically saying, I'm not going to negotiate. I'm just going to keep spending and borrowing. And I don't know if it's going to be in 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years, but at some point, this time bomb will detonate. Remember what happened in 2008? Remember that, Annie, when the economy just collapsed and businesses failed and millions of people lost their jobs. I don't want to see that happen again. We got to get out in front of this. And I think every one of the conditions that Speaker McCarthy laid out makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, let's have a 1-year increase in the debt ceiling. Let's agree to some spending cuts that we can all agree on make sense for our country. And then let's do something about the runaway. How about the waste in the budget? How about all the payments that were made, that went, food stamps and all these other programs that went to fraudsters. Hundreds of billions of dollars, Annie. Can't we get some of that money back?
Don't we budget? When we create spending bills and stuff, don't we budget for fraud and waste? Isn't that part of what we anticipate and expect?
Yes, I mean that's the problem. When I testified before Congress a couple months ago on the by the way, I didn't say hundreds of millions. I said hundreds of billions with a B. And I said to the members of Congress, I said, how can you possibly justify all this waste and fraud and abuse and the fact that shamsters, took advantage of the programs? And one of the Democratic members of Congress said, well, we wanted to spend the money in a hurry, and if you spend that much money, you're going to waste a lot of money. I'm like, that's your response? That's Washington in a nutshell, Annie.
Yeah, the understanding going into it that we don't care about a certain amount of waste is really, really on the nose for government. What before I let you go, last question, because I don't want to keep you over your time. We're speaking with Steve Moore right now. When you listen to people who are in Congress right now or who are running for Congress in the future or the presidency in the future, when it comes to spending and saving and cutting, what do you want to hear?
Well, I want to cut. I want to take a chainsaw out of this budget. I think we now have a $6 trillion budget. When I came to Washington under Reagan, it was $1 trillion. So think about how massively we've increased federal spending. And it is a cancer cell. It's that simple. It is eroding the economic health of our country. And unless and by the way, I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, I think Trump spent too much. I'm a Trump guy, but Trump spent too much too. Then Biden comes in and spends another $6 trillion. I mean, it's both parties are responsible for this.
And it's massively impacting the country, our way of life, and really our security throughout the world. Thank you, Steve. We always appreciate your time.
All right, Annie, have a great week. Take care.
You as well. Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage Foundation. He also wrote a book called GovZilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Hannah, every conversation with you doesn't have to start with, you're 21 years old, but we're going to start this one with it.
Okay.
Just for people who might be joining us who are new and they're like, who is this young female, vibrant and beautiful? If you're watching us on the YouTube channel, you already know that. You've come into talk radio from an associate's degree. Mm-hmm. So you're fresh out of school, but I remember one time you and I were having a conversation about something completely different, but you were talking about how you spend a lot of your time around grown people.
I do.
Compared to your peers who are more around 21-year-olds. Brad, you remember what it was like to be 21?
Yes, when I was vibrant and beautiful.
You are still vibrant and beautiful, I might add. But you know what it's like to be 21. And if you're around people who are 21, you just have different life. Goals, just everything. Expectations.
Focuses and thoughts and everything. It's just different.
Since Hannah works here in the old folks' home. And you were exposed to things that you would never be exposed to. You could be doing what you're doing right now at, you've worked with Y98. If you were working at what a lot of people get out of getting an associate's degree, communications degree, and then you get like in a super small, but like really cool local radio station. Mm-hmm. You're like, what about those conservative talk people? What do they know? You're exposed to an enormous amount of things that most people your age aren't. So I'm sure that it's hard to relate to people in your...
Yes, right now especially. So I'm 21. My friends are juniors in college right now. They're, doing things with their sororities and, going out all the time. And
if we created an Annie Frey Show sorority? Would that make you feel better?
I think both you and I would not be in sororities anyway, so I don't really know how that would work.
We can make it whatever we want to make it, Hannah.
But yes, I'm around just different environments, way older people. I have a different mindset than a lot of my friends currently.
So when I talk to Steve Moore about government spending, in my mind, I'm thinking, if you're somebody who's Hannah's age, whose parents listen to 97.1. Mm-hmm. And so you got in the car and you're driving the car, mom and dad are in there, and they've got it on 97.1. Thanks, mom and dad. And the 21-year-old is exposed to the Annie Frey Show in the afternoon. There are things that we talk about on this show that they're going to be like, whoa, what is this? Mm-hmm. I don't think an economic conversation about government spending and cutting is going to be the thing that keeps them on the station.
No.
But your generation and our generation is the one going to get massively hosed.
Yes.
Because of this specific issue.
This impacts us so much, and they don't realize it yet.
I often wonder how much people my age, let alone your age, think about the money that comes out of their paycheck, because once you get a job, it doesn't matter if it's your career. It could be your first job working in a fast food joint.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be my first job was bussing tables at PK's in Edwardsville. It doesn't even exist anymore. But if you know, it was great. I got paid $3.15 an hour as a busser. The servers were supposed to tip out 10%, and then the busser split it. I don't think that they really did tip anything. I'm looking back on that going, I think that's a little sketchy.
Hold on.
But I mean, I'd literally get a paycheck that was $20. And I was 16 bussing tables, and that was it. And I'd go put it in my savings account. And then, like, after months, I'd have like $100.
Yeah. Ooh.
Unbelievable. But you look at your paycheck, and you're like, that's it? And then you see, like, it's a teeny tiny amount because I'm making a teeny tiny amount. But why does that money go there? It doesn't make sense to me. I think that there is an opportunity for young people to get a little miffed about that chunk of change that's not going into their paycheck. The question is, how do conservatives get them to understand that they actually have an ability to affect what happens after that?
Yeah, that's a great question because, like, it's getting them to link the thought that, wow, I should have made this much money because I worked this many hours at this rate, and now I'm making less than that because somebody's taking this away. Linking that with who they vote for and the policies that those people make. Trying to get them to make that link because, like Hannah and you were talking about earlier in this segment, like, people turn on the radio and it's like, oh, they're talking about fiscal policy, and they turn it off.
Sure.
And like, because that stuff's boring.
I feel like a lot of my friends, when they think about politics, they're like, oh, it really doesn't affect me. Like, voting for president really doesn't affect me. You know, I live in Missouri, small town, whatever. I couldn't agree more. It affects every single decision you make. It affects your whole life.
You said infects. I think you were right.
Yeah.
Infects.
It was
it infects it.
Misspeak, but it made sense.
You're not wrong. What if, here, I got an idea. What if we take these boring issues and we have Ryan Wiggins write a rap for us, and then we have Hannah read it over a beat, a hard, awesome beat, a bussin' beat.
Bussin'. A beat that slaps.
I'm not sure what we're saying right now.
So far, it makes sense.
You get the idea.
Just like Infect.
It's the funny part about this is that in my head, what we're doing is a 2023 version of Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy to get a point across. But the young people are like, who the heck is Jack Handy? And I'm like, Google it.
Oh, no.
Or just ending it with the Michael Jordan, I'm smart enough, I'm good enough, and people like me.
Gosh darn it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think about these issues that are the biggest, you want to talk about abortion? Everybody runs to their corners. We're going to talk to 21-year-olds. We're going to talk to Gen Zers, and we're going to bring up abortion. They all have their minds made up on that because that dramatically affects them. Because especially the pro-aborts have focused and keyed in on reaching these people and getting them to be a part of a cause. And it's great to be a part of a cause. You're 21, and someone says you have an important voice on this issue, and you're like, I've been saying that for 10 years. I should have an important voice on something. And all right, this will do. I'll get involved. They want to be wanted. What are the people on the right doing to show these people that they have an important voice on life or on government spending? They got to show up and do something.
Yeah, because it really feels like they're not doing anything. They've just decided, well, we're not going to reach young voters, so we're just not going to try to reach young voters. They've done that in several areas, and that's a terrible idea. Showing young voters, hey, you can impact change, and like you were saying, with abortion, everybody runs their corner. But everybody hates getting taxed. There is nobody out there, and anybody in our chat that says, oh, no, I don't mind paying my taxes. They're lying. You hate paying your taxes. Nobody likes getting taxed. Nobody does. So that's something that you could draw them over and say, hey, look, this is what our plan is, and this is why we want to limit taxes so you get more of your money that you earned.
We got to do it. I don't know if Ryan Wiggins and a bus and beat is the solution to the problem, but I'm willing to try. Especially if it's funny. Even for us older folks. Yeah. We will throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Matt Whitaker is going to join us when we come back. Matt's going to join us. Brad, you worked on booking Matt and getting him on the show. Trump.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Trump indictment with him.
I'm excited to hear what he has to say about this. He is the former acting United States Attorney General, so he knows a little bit about the law. Family.org. You type in the URL there, and you immediately have the option to subscribe and get action alerts from the top of the website. Why am I subscribing or asking for action alerts from IllinoisFamily.org? Well, I'll give you a few reasons. Their advocacy is to promote pro-life, pro-family, pro-religious liberty, and small government policies at the Capitol in Springfield. I am sounding this alarm everywhere I go when I'm giving speeches right now at Lincoln Day dinners and so on and so forth. The advocacy that needs to be fixed in our culture right now, it starts with you. It doesn't start with the right person winning an election somewhere and fixing all the problems. It starts with you. But you need to be informed in order to know where you want to put your efforts and your activism. IllinoisFamily.org. IllinoisFamily.org. Go to this website right now and learn a little bit about what they're doing and see what issues they are highlighting that really get to where you want to see influence that reflects you be applied to the Capitol in Springfield. Their mission is to boldly bring biblical perspectives to public policy in Illinois. Reach out to them on their website and sign up today for their newsletter and their action alerts. You won't be disappointed. You'll be informed. Go to IllinoisFamily.org.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town and Country, Missouri, 63017. CordellCordell.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, You heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Secretary of State of Missouri, Jay Ashcroft, who is running for Missouri governor next year.
We're not getting things done that we should get done. We're not returning the people's money to them. It's ridiculous.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Every time the sun goes down.
And think about the implications of this. A Democrat runs for DA. He promises the people of the borough of Manhattan that he will get Trump. They elect him. He then gets Trump on an indictment. And he wants the very same people who voted for him on the theory of get Trump to now serve on the jury to get Trump. My God, how far do you have to go to explain the injustice in this? It should be obvious to everybody, and it has become increasingly obvious to Democrats and progressives and liberals, and people are afraid to say it, but they say it to me and they say it to others. This is American injustice at its worst.
Well, that's Alan Dershowitz reacting to the Trump indictment. And this is a consistent thing. You're seeing it across all political walks and all networks that, of course, this case is flimsy. But Alvin Bragg has to know that this case is flimsy. And there has to be something still of value that is great enough to pursue a flimsy case against Donald Trump. What is it? Well, let's talk to Matt Whitaker. He's a former acting U.S. Attorney General. He's the author of a book called Above the Law. You need to check that out and subscribe to his podcast. He's host of Liberty and Justice. Matt, thank you for coming back on the show with us. It's great to have you here.
Always great to be with you, Annie. How are you?
I'm doing okay. We sit here in St. Louis, and you've probably heard of Kim Gardner, who's our circuit attorney, and the attorney general here who's decided that he's not going to allow, or try to not allow, Kim Gardner to do this kind of justice here in St. Louis. On the national scale, we see it coming out of New York. And as somebody who has served in that attorney general position, what is your reaction to Alvin Bragg and what he is doing to presidential candidate Donald Trump?
Well, obviously, I join a lot of people think it's very concerning. It's the natural extension, though, of this weaponization of politics, making the political illegal. And so, we shouldn't be surprised where we find ourselves. The real, I think, wake-up moment right now is that how little there is for an outlet for this frustration. How a presidential candidate can be targeted on super flimsy, almost non-existent grounds, certainly on old, expired claims, and there's no way to quickly dispose and get rid of this. That Donald Trump is going to have to fight this in court. He's going to have to deal with a deck that's stacked against him, whether it's a jury, whether it's judges that are appointed by people that don't support, him or his agenda. And, I think a lot of us are trying to find ways and come up with ways that these abuses can't continue. And, I'd be saying the same thing if it was a Republican DA who was bringing charges against a Democrat. I just think that this is so far out of the range of what, should be the purpose of prosecution that it's nothing but an abuse of power by Alvin Bragg in New York City.
We're speaking with former acting United States Attorney General Matt Whitaker. You were part of the Trump administration, and we've heard this phrase before. They're not after him, they're after us. You've got that Trump scarlet letter that most people who are involved in that proudly bear when you are associated with working with him in his administration. And, I got to think, if Donald Trump doesn't win the presidency again, everybody else is still fair game if this is the way justice is implemented in the United States. How do you feel about being attached to that?
Well, I mean, I think it's like a lot of folks, it's in the back of our minds. I have no reason to be afraid. I obviously continue to try to conduct myself with the level of ethics and probity. At the same time, if we are going after our political opponents and prosecuting them and making them defend themselves, then, it is something that, should be concerning. I will tell you, one of the other things that the left has done is they've weaponized, bar associations. That they've put leftists predominantly on these, bar attorney licensing commissions, and then they file bar complaints. We're seeing that happen, all over the country with anybody that, especially lawyers that have represented or been associated with Trump. We've got a attorney general. I had a series of bar complaints filed against me in my home state of Iowa, and, all of them were incorrect and they lost, but it was still something I had to spend money on and time and effort to defeat because of, again, this continued weaponization. And I think those of us on the right either need to play the same game and continue and fight on all these levels, or we've unilaterally disarmed, in certain areas. And that's unfortunately the modern world. I hope that there are statesmen and stateswomen that can step up and speak out against these abuses and curtail ultimately, these significant un-American actions. But, to be honest with you, Annie, I think we're a long way from there. And I think we're going to have to elevate our battle plans to meet this, and it's too bad. I wish it didn't have to be like that, but I think that's where we are in modern America.
You can subscribe to Matt Whitaker's podcast. He's the host of Liberty and Justice. You can check that out wherever you get podcasts from, or check his book out, Above the Law. I think about what Jim Jordan is doing and what's going on in New York City right now with Alvin Bragg, and just some of the absolutely unexplainable decisions that have been made by his choice to prosecute or not to prosecute. And I think about what you're saying there about how imbalanced the justice system is right now. Do you think that what Jim Jordan is doing here is an appropriate use of his time and Congress's time and investment to take it to New York City and say, we got to do something different here?
I absolutely do, because if you look at the basis for Alvin Bragg's efforts, so much of it is either abusing federal resources and the money he's getting from the federal government and law enforcement in New York, or more importantly, abusing what appears to be federal law. And congressmen and women should be prepared to change the laws if they're being abused by local prosecutors, which it appears to be in this case with Alvin Bragg. And so I think it is very much also important to highlight the mismatch of resources. Obviously, while I disagree with a lot of Democrats who believe that Donald Trump is a menace, to our country. In fact, I think there's a lot more menacing criminals in New York City than Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is not threatened, doesn't even live in New York City anymore.
Yeah.
And so I just think that this is, the Jim Jordan and his Judiciary Committee is going to hang a lantern on what Alvin Bragg should be focusing his time and attention, and instead of pleading down a lot of felonies to misdemeanors in every other criminal case that seems to come before his office, he for some reason has pled this one up from an alleged misdemeanor to a felony, which is just, I think, an explicit abuse of power on his part.
In Chicago, we're speaking with Matt Whitaker right now, that we saw these young people rioting and looting in Chicago, and they have a new mayor-elect with Brandon Johnson. He said, to his credit, I guess, he's like, you shouldn't loot and you shouldn't riot. But the thing that I keyed in on is the idea that we shouldn't really blame the kids who are participating in this. We should blame the system or whatever it is that caused these kids to make these choices. At some point, I would think that justice has to show that crime has consequences, and somebody is going to have to be made an example of. I'm wondering what you see when you look at Chicago, and if it's a part of this greater social justice picture that we see across the country.
Yeah, I think it is. I think there is certainly a lack of consequences, especially for what some consider lesser crimes. But I also think there has been a lack of support of law enforcement. There's been a blaming of law enforcement, especially after George Floyd's death. And I think that has caused because of the lack of support among the political class of the police, I think it's caused them to retreat from maybe some of the proactive policing that they would do in their communities. And I think Chicago is the poster child for what has happened. You know, the political class doesn't seem to want to take responsibility for supporting law enforcement, both financially and spiritually. And so I think you're seeing law enforcement ranks be bedraggled. And, you know, I think they're really discouraged from doing their job. And I think that's why you end up with a lot of this. And a lot of it boils down to prosecutors not doing the cases. You know, I know in New York City, for example, 75% of the gun cases that are brought by police are dismissed. And I think that's, you know, probably consistent with some of these major cities where the police bring cases and the prosecutors don't actually prosecute the cases they bring.
Yeah, we certainly see that here in St. Louis. Last question before we let you go. We're speaking with Matt Whitaker, the former acting U.S. Attorney General. You know how the system works. You've seen behind the curtain in a way that a lot of our listeners have not seen. Is the solution to fix this problem on the grandest scale? Does Donald Trump have to become the president, or Republican have to become the president? How do you weed this garden so that our country can flourish again?
Yeah, we need definitely some change, especially at places like the FBI. A lot of these local issues in Chicago and St. Louis and other major cities, including Manhattan, where we're seeing this, you know, egregious abuse of power by Alvin Bragg. I think those are going to have to, you know, sort of be the reaction of the citizens of those municipalities. But, you know, nationally, certainly restoring a different tone and tenor at the Department of Justice matters. And certainly a Republican administration, whether it's Donald Trump or somebody else, could begin that. But we also need, I think, just a lot more citizen engagement. I think, you know, one of the challenges, a lot of people just want to be left alone. They want to go about their business, raise their family, pay attention to their job or their business, you know, attend their church of choosing and, you know, cheer for their St. Louis Cardinals, whatever, you know, other inferior baseball team plays out there. But, you know, that being said, I think a lot of people are realizing that they just can't not be engaged. And you've seen that at school boards especially, but I think that's happening, you know, just a civic engagement of a lot of our fellow citizens and understanding that the people that they think they're electing to run these things are not doing a very good job.
Yeah. Matt, I forgot you were a Cardinals fan. That's right. You were here and we had that
Cardinals fan.
Yes, you are. Hopefully they get
I didn't like the first couple of weeks here, so hopefully we can turn around. I saw our Newt Bar had a good return, and so I'm excited. And I know we have I think we have the Diamondbacks coming into town for 3 days.
That's right. Yes, we do. Well, we'll have you back sometime. We'll just talk sports. How's that sound?
We could do that for like hours.
Or if you're ever in town to take in a Cardinals game, we would love to have
I'll
you.
be there this summer. I always come. I was there last year for the Yankees homestand, and I'll be there again this year.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you for coming on the show and talking about these issues. It's so incredibly important that we have a fair justice system in this country, and it's obvious right now it isn't that way. So thank you for your voice. We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, Annie. Good talking to you.
You as well. Matt Whitaker, former acting United States Attorney General, author of the book Above the Law. Go give it a look if you're interested in his perspective on these things. It's fantastic. And he was in Studio 2. He was supporting Regan Deering in the Illinois 13th Congressional District. So we had the chance to have him in here and talk to him. And he is a Cardinals fan. And as soon as he said that, I was like, that is right. I know that. I always log these things in my head. And sometimes if you articulate to me that you're a Cardinals fan, but you're from somewhere else, there's a part of me that it's not in my head. It's in my heart. I like you just a little bit more. And there's just something that gets imprinted on the beat of my heart that we have that thing in common. And Matt Whitaker, he's definitely one of those people. But people don't know off the top of their head who Matt Whitaker is. He was in front of a court. He did a hearing in Congress, and he had so much confidence about him at this hearing that some of the memes that have come out of that are famous. And I appreciate his attitude. I appreciate his go-get-him efforts, and glad that he gave us some time here today. I am told that was that in the second half of the first segment of this hour?
Yes.
We had an idea. we said, all right, we got Steve Moore. Steve Moore is a man who has influenced presidential economic policy. This is a huge deal. He schedules 10 minutes into his week for you to be able to hear what he has to say through our relationship with him here on the Annie Frey Show. It's a really, really big, massive deal. But I don't know that the Gen Zers out there who are listening in the car with their parents are like, oh, I can't wait. We can't get out of the car, Mom and Dad. Leave the car running in the driveway. I got to hear what Steve Moore has to say. Now, the parents are sitting there, and I know because I get tons of feedback. You love to hear from Steve Moore. What can we do to make this interesting for the kids? And I said we should write rap lyrics, put it over a bussin' beat, and have Hannah read them. And Ryan heard that, and he has done so.
I forgot the part where I have to read it.
I don't know either.
No.
These are things, I'm going to tell you this, little behind the scenes stuff. These are ideas that we come up with all the time. They never happen.
But today they are.
They never happen 30 minutes from the genesis of the idea that I had never mentioned before. So if they do occur, I get to preview them and go, no. We're not doing that. There's no time for me to preview it. So we'll just all take it in together.
Buckle up, folks.
Ryan Wiggins in studio.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
So let's talk about your air conditioning and have you kicked it in yet? We have, certainly in our house. Aircomfortservice.com if you are interested in having the very best, who are going to care for you, your budget, your home, your family that's in your home, your pets that are in your home. They're great with all of it. I stand by them as a customer. Spring is here. Trees are blooming. Flowers are flowering. There are allergens all over in the air right now. Are you having allergy issues? You might not be able to do anything about outdoor allergens, but you can do something about the indoor allergens. Corey and the team at Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation have a variety of indoor air quality products to make your home even more comfortable. You can call them for free estimates on a whole home air purifier that can help relieve or eliminate allergy symptoms, pet dander, bacteria, viruses, odors, and more. If you have any indoor air quality or HVAC concerns, reach out to Air Comfort Service and get them addressed today. Like I said, a free estimate on that whole home air purifier. I know that we have the allergies swirling in our house, and they affect some of us much more greatly than others. And you do almost anything to get rid of that. 314-513-0091. Call them and tell them Annie sent you. 314-513-0091. AirComfortService.com.
The once-a-year jewelry event everyone waits for is here. Starting Friday, Diamonds Direct takes value to a whole new level with an extra 20% savings on just about everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement ring mountings included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Diamonds Direct store-wide spring event starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. You found it here.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I don't know what's about to happen.
I don't either.
I think it's important to preface what is about to take place here. Let's first, just for comparison's sakes, listen to Kevin McCarthy.
And the problem is getting worse, not better. We are now $31 trillion in debt.
Okay, that sounds bad.
That's more the entire economy of America. 20%
also sounds bad.
more. 20%. Think for a moment. That is unsustainable.
Yeah, but is it because it's always been the case? Our life, we've always been in a massive amount of debt. I mean, $1 trillion seems like a lot of money. It would be problematic to be in, what did you say, 30-something trillion?
31 or 2?
Yeah, 31 trillion.
Yeah, give or take a trill.
I mean, it's just a trill.
I know. We're trying to talk like the kids. But did you hear Kevin McCarthy? Did you feel motivated to be like, gosh, I really should pay attention to economic policy now and really care about where that dollar that's coming out of my paycheck, where is it going? Why isn't it going to me? And so we thought we would do some outreach for the kids.
Okay. The way that this happened was in the first segment of this hour, everybody was talking about Stephen Moore and how great he is at fiscal policy. But you guys said, you know what, we need to reach the younger generation with solid fiscal policy. And the way to do that is obviously through the hip hop.
And we surveyed the company here and we thought, who better to do that than us?
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a lot of people here who don't have the resume for that, but we do.
No. The Lou, St. Louis, it was 96.3 the Lou.
Yep.
Hot 104.1.
They're like, we're not touching that.
Yeah. And we did talk to them and they said no.
They wouldn't.
So trickle-down economics would imply that then it came to me.
Yeah.
And
although once they hear this, they might go, it's our patriotic duty to never let them do that again.
Yeah. They might. We don't know.
Yeah.
Because I think this is pretty great. But really, it's going to rest on Hannah. So what I have here is a beat that I've brought. It's a legit song.
I have not heard this beat either.
This
Let
is all
me put
fresh.
that out there.
It's all fresh.
Yeah.
And in that segment, while Matt Whitaker was talking, I typed up some lyrics.
We came up with this idea less than 30 minutes ago.
Yes.
And we come up with a lot of ideas on the show, Ryan. 30-minute turnarounds, but good.
Pretty phenomenal.
Good even for you.
Yeah. Pretty
I'm
phenomenal.
Impressed.
Is what you're saying. So,
and sweating.
So I'm gonna play the song, and we're just gonna go through it. You got the lyrics in front of you.
Haven't even really read them, but
No.
okay.
Now, if you do this exactly right, it will end on the last beat. You will hit the word peace.
That's a lot of pressure.
But if
I
you
don't know. Okay, here we go.
okay, you ready? We're just gonna do it.
No, I'm not, but let's go.
There's a little bit of a, and then boom, you got to
So
start right
if,
on that beat.
If these words suck, Ryan wrote them.
Yes.
If they're awesome, Ryan
Hannah wrote them.
Ryan wrote them. No.
This
Okay.
is all you, Wiggins.
All right.
I just got handed. Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Yo, listen, this is Hannah G. I'm here to talk about fiscal policy. You might think that's lame, well, you should see your face. Talking about that money, come and get a taste. You want to go and dance? You want to buy some snacks? Well, you're going to need that money. Don't trust leftist super PACs. They will try to tell you it's not the government's fault, but that will make you poor, so try and get involved. I'm Hannah G, and I'm not about that vanity. I'm here to bring Gen Z some monetary sanity. You might think I'm glam just because I'm young, but you're gonna feel that slam. My muscle's 21. Peace.
Oh, man, that's great.
That was good,
You almost hit it.
That was awesome.
You almost hit it.
Almost.
Can you do it better?
I don't know. You want to try?
Yeah, we should try. And you're gonna be Hannah G.
I've got the sheet too.
Oh.
All right.
It's a rap battle.
It is.
All right, here we go.
You got the music.
Yo, listen, this is Hannah G. I'm here to talk about fiscal policy. You might think that's lame. Well, you should see your face. Talking about that money, come and get a taste. You gonna go and dance? You wanna buy some snacks? Well, you're gonna need that money. Don't trust leftist super PACs. They will try to tell you it's not the government's fault, but that will make you poor, so try to get involved. I'm Hannah G. I'm not about that vanity. I'm here to bring Gen Z some monetary sanity. You might think I'm glam just because I'm young. You're gonna feel that slam. My muscle's 21. Peace.
Oh, that was even better.
That was pretty good.
I want to
Ryan.
point out that I did not ever hear that beat before I went, so I had
No.
no idea what I was going with.
That was impressive.
That was good.
I even threw in some lines in there that don't fit the structure of the song.
Just to throw me
Just
off?
to throw you off, and you
Oh,
still
thank you.
basically did it. I mean, it
Wow.
threw me off doing it.
You just had that in your head?
I actually had that mostly written before Matt Whitaker said hello.
I know that, but like, did you
Oh.
have a rap lyric in your drawer that you're like, it's like in case of emergency?
Yeah. Break glass.
And then, it's time to use my rap lyrics that I've been waiting on this exact issue.
Yeah, I wrote this years ago. The first line was the toughest because it starts, yo, listen, this is Hannah G. And I didn't even know who that was when I wrote this.
And then you met Hannah
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Biggs, and we had to fire her.
Right, yeah. Hannah B. I'm like, oh, you're so close. Sorry.
My favorite part was, you might think I'm glam just because I'm young, but you're going to feel that slam. My muscle's 21.
Yeah. I like that it also says, you're going to feel that slam. My muscle's 21. And then peace.
Peace.
Because it's talking about punching people in the face.
I'm not rapping. People on the YouTube want Brad and me to go, you can give it a shot.
Brad,
No.
here.
Ryan, Ryan,
Oh,
honestly,
Annie.
I can't, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I don't know
have
that anybody can do better than that.
You
That
have
was
an
really good.
advantage that you picked the song and wrote the
Yeah.
rap lyric.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic. I
Yeah.
couldn't beat it.
Well, I the only thing I did well is I hit peace on the beat.
That's not the only thing you did well.
What do people say?
Great.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there we go. Don't trust leftist super PACs is where it really throws
You know what's
you off.
gonna you know what's gonna happen here? The old
What?
people are gonna love it.
No. This is not for
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna be like, oh, they're talking to the kids. This is wonderful.
Yeah. I need to show this to my grandbaby.
The babies. It's all for the babies.
Oh man.
This is not. So yeah, you can share this. My guess is that this will end up as a video, and you will be able to share it. But the problem is you got to download one of those apps. So you may not be invested enough to do that.
You know, Tyrus knows Snoop.
I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to talk to Snoop. How do you think he feels about solid fiscal policy?
Pretty good. He's loaded.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. That he would be like, you know what? I don't
I
like
would
taxes.
assume that most celebrities these days are fiscally conservative. They, just like everything else we've talked about in the beginning of this show, so many businesses and entities out there right now who are selling you something, and celebrities are selling you something. They're selling you themselves in the sense that you see them, you like them, you relate to them, you appreciate or respect their acting or their singing or their athletic ability. And so you go buy tickets to see their movies or tickets to see their concert or tickets to see them play sports, and you align with them and they're selling you something. But I very much so firmly believe that the more educated and the older that a lot of these people and the more successful they get, the more they have to be looking at the fine print going, wait, what? And maybe there's a social issue in there that they're not willing to go against and that becomes their lane or whatever. But fiscal policy to me is the key to make young people not feel, I've heard people say this about Dylan Mulvaney? What human right is Dylan Mulvaney being denied?
Great question. I love that question because the answer is none.
The idea that somehow somebody is owed acceptance, appreciation, respect, none of that. Because listen, I'm sitting here identifying as mom, suburban, like it's as boring to these people that are, trying to be influencers or whatever. Like my existence is about as boring and probably unaspirational. Like in many cases, everything that I am would look like settling to those people. I don't care. I do not need approval or affirmation from anybody to tell me whether or not I'm happy with where my life is right now. That's up to me to decide, which is the ultimate empowering American place to be, which is this is who I am. I don't need you to justify it. You don't get to take it away from me. Period. That's kind of the social. That's where, in my opinion, social conservatism is, which is really classical liberalism, which is where Bill Maher is on all of these issues. And I don't know where Republicans have to publicly fall on social issues. Abortion is going to be a big one of them, and I have a lot to say about that. I don't know if I'm going to get to it today, but I think Republicans politically need to get out of the abortion conversation. It's a bold statement that probably deserves a lot more explanation. But when it comes to winning elections, you're not going to win it on the social battlefield, and if you get elected and you fight on that battlefield, you're going to lose it once you have it. Save the country economically. Protect the country from a defensive standpoint. Show the world that we are the greatest country because of what we're capable of doing here by investing and protecting freedom. And we can't do any of that if we don't have our economic house in order. I feel like we've reached the people today.
If you want to reach them, anything that you want to reach Gen Z with, you talk to me and Hannah. It's done.
Yo.
We will reach them with any issue. Already, you can see the polling changing.
Uh-huh.
I'm watching it. I watch that stuff like crazy.
The size
and over the
graph.
last 30 minutes.
Brad, I'm going to need that audio.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the polling shift from Gen Z.
Okay, we need another one, but for 2:15.
Oh, for what, though?
I'll tell you at 2.
Oh, okay.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Underlaw, we take on the establishment and challenge corporations to be better for the safety of our community.
Call Underlaw Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Stay Home Medical is where urgent care comes to you. And I love being in partnership with these individuals because when it comes to healthcare these days, we need to know the different options that we have. And a lot of people don't like the way the healthcare system is set up at this point in time. If you are in a position where you need urgent care and you need to find out, do I have strep throat? Or if you've got some sort of virus and maybe it's plaguing several people in your house, you need to make sure that you know about Stay Home Medical. You can learn all about it at stayhomemedical.com and start paying attention, having this access available to you, putting this number that I'm about to give you into your phone so that you can have it at the ready when the urgent care is needed. 314-944-3003. Stay Home Medical has nurse practitioners who work under a collaborating physician with your home or your office visit. They come to you where you are when you are there. Make sure that you understand that Stay Home Medical is accessible wherever you are so that care is brought immediately to you. Ear infections, UTIs, bronchitis, dehydration, just to name a few things that you would normally go, oh my goodness, I need to go to a medical provider for this. You sit in a waiting room around other sick people. You wait and you wait and you wait. It's expensive. when you work with Stay Home Medical, it's affordable. They take those HSA, FSA payments, and they come to you. Find them online and learn everything you know at stayhomemedical.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. We'll be planting and cleaning up at Tower Grove Park from 10 to noon on Friday, April 21st. It's our one day, one thing. Tower Grove Park is a National Historic Landmark park featuring grassy meadows, 7,000 trees, and flowers that make Tower Grove Park an important urban green space in the heart of South St. Louis. What's your one thing? Join us one day, one thing at Tower Grove Park, Friday, April 21st. Check out our station website for more details.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Conducting combat operations in Ukraine.
Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh after renewed concern raised by leaked classified documents.
We publicly acknowledged previously that there is a small U.S. military footprint in Ukraine to provide mission-critical support to the U.S. Embassy.
A Massachusetts Air National Guard member is due in court this week, accused of posting military documents in a Discord chat room. The Pentagon says it's working around the clock to understand the scope of the leak and launching a 45-day review of procedures. The Justice Department launches a crackdown on efforts by the Chinese government to crack down on critics in the U.S.
The FBI, Justice Department, and U.S. Attorney's Office of the Eastern District of New York have announced the arrest of 2 New York residents for operating in part a secret Chinese police station in Manhattan's Chinatown. Federal officials also claim 34 officers of China's National Police Force have threatened Chinese dissidents in the U.S. and spread disinformation on social media.
Fox's Nate Foy, the 2 New York residents charged over the secret police station, are accused of destroying evidence of their communications with the Chinese Communist Party and of helping the party try to find a Chinese pro-democracy activist living in California. Those 2 suspects due in court at this hour.
The defendant's actions under the direction of the Chinese government are flagrant violations of American sovereignty.
U.S. Attorney Breon Pease, 8 Chinese government officials are charged in a separate case with directing a telecom company employee to remove dissidents from online forums. The UN envoy to Sudan now says more than 180 people have been killed in fighting between forces loyal to the country's top 2 generals. Civilians being caught in the crossfire. America is listening to Fox News.
Could you use some extra help meeting basic needs? Like putting food on the table or paying the rent? Keeping your home warm and the lights on? Buying new shoes for growing feet? Or help with medical needs? Find out about the Supplemental Security Income Program, SSI, administered by Social Security. It's money you can use to help pay for basic needs like food, clothing, shelter, or medical needs. You could receive monthly SSI payments if your income and financial resources are low and you're 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability, or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI to learn more about SSI and start the application process today. That's ssa.gov/SSI. This message produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Still a little bit on the chilly side going through our Monday afternoon, and I think 62 will do it for the high. Tonight, clear skies. The winds stay with us for evening plans, die after midnight. Kind of a cold night, 41 degrees. Tuesday, cold start, sunny and warmer. Tuesday afternoon, 72 degrees. Wednesday, partly sunny. Maybe a couple of spotty showers, but a lot of dry time, 78. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today.
We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Stewart's American Mortgage is where the bagel loan comes from, and working with Stewie is the way business is supposed to be done. I say this as a customer myself twice of the bagel loan. A lot of times I spend right now talking about home purchases because then you're forced to get a mortgage. If I talk about doing home refinances, people are going, Annie, rates are super high right now. Why would I be refinancing my mortgage? Two reasons I can think of why maybe you would. First is that you've got a lot of equity in your house and maybe you have high credit card debt. And if you look at the rate that you're going to refinance your house to and compare it to the astronomical rate that you're paying on your credit card debt, maybe that bagel loan makes a lot of sense. When you use the bagel loan, you don't pay any closing costs that every other lender out there is going to charge you to go through this process of refinancing your mortgage. The second reason you might want to refinance right now is because rates are actually lower than where they have been previously in the last maybe 5 or 6 months. So if you had a mortgage that you secured, you bought a home, and its rates have gone down since then, the bagel loan doesn't cost you anything to use it. There are no closing costs. You work with Stewie, you get the job done, and you save by lowering that mortgage rate. Call him or text him at 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey. As the state's chief legal officer, I will enforce the laws as written. I will hold accountable those who violate state and federal law by knowingly hiring unauthorized workers. By paying lower wages and avoiding taxes, businesses using unauthorized workers put honest ones at a competitive disadvantage. Report businesses that employ unauthorized workers at ago.mo.gov.
Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Labor and Industrial Relations.
If you're experiencing a spring hiring rush, then you need Indeed. Their powerful all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Fact-checking the mainstream media daily.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You found it here. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
If you're just joining us and you missed the rap battle that literally took place on the last segment, then it's probably time to subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast because I'm sure it will be up there.
Oh, yes.
You getting a lot of feedback?
Yep. A lot of people like it.
A lot of
actually.
encouragement.
My mom is shocked that I actually did it. I'm shocked too. I really went in blind there, but Ryan did a good job with the lyrics.
Ryan wrote a rap and Hannah read it for the first time and rapped it for the first time on the air.
Cold.
Like when I say for the first time on the air, I mean like the first time she ever did it, it happened to be on the air.
Yeah. First time she ever heard the beat, and I gave her the sheet ahead of time, so maybe you would like
Ahead of time
is in like a minute before the segment started.
Maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah. So that was shooting from the hip.
So we talked earlier in the show in Wiggins America about, you said the 4 cities of the lowest unemployment rate are in Florida. Was that the headline?
4 of the top 5.
4 of the top 5 are
Yeah.
in Florida. And I was talking about how the algorithm, as it is apt to do, was serving me up stories like, oh, you might be interested in this. One of them was Yahoo's 7 reasons you don't want to retire in Florida, which is funny to like sit down and be like, I need to write an article today. What should I write it on? Well, I hate Florida. Let's encourage people not to go there.
Right.
So here are the things. And the question that I have for you guys here in the room is this a political article or are these good salient points?
Okay.
And also the question that I ask myself is, if these are 7 reasons not to retire to Florida, why are these things the way that they are? are they inherently bad, or is this something that is true? But let's explain why it is the way that they are. Homes can be expensive. It says many states have watched their housing prices balloon over the past years, thanks in part to a shortfall in new construction that dates back to the Great Recession. However, none have seen their housing prices skyrocket the way Florida has.
I think that's a fair argument to say that, well, if you want to stretch your money in retirement, maybe you don't go to Florida because you could get something cheaper elsewhere.
Why is it that housing is so high in Florida?
Well,
right
that's because that's where everybody wants to be.
It's a little supply and demand. Which is funny to me that it's not. It says, for example, housing prices increased 22.7% from the year before. As of the third quarter of 2022, the median home price in Orlando is $345,000. Redfin reports. So if you intend to retire to Florida, you'll need to be financially prepared from the get-go. Now, I can understand where if you were trying to stretch your money, that you would say, Florida just seems pretty expensive. But it is a classic supply and demand, and the things that are good in Florida that make Florida workable and attractive to people, where you go when those housing prices are lower, you're not going to have the good things that help contribute to the higher housing prices.
Yeah. And another rebuttal to that point would be that across the nation, no matter where you go, housing prices are up almost exclusively 15% or more everywhere, not just in Florida. So it's not as if you're going to save a whole lot of money by going somewhere else
and
either.
then the other thing to consider too is Florida's on the up trajectory. So they might be that now, but whenever you buy your home or whatever, the value of that home is going to continue to rise at the trajectory that Florida's going, unless there's some sort of major something that changes
and also,
things.
What's the retention rate for Florida? Like the idea that you are going to go there and want to stay there and want to continue to live your life there, or you're thinking, I don't know, those housing prices in central Illinois are looking. That's probably not there, but are looking a little bit better than Florida. You go move to central Illinois, but what are you relocating from? And what are you wanting to relocate to? There's probably always going to be somebody who wants to live in Florida. And that means those home values will be retained. Healthcare can be costly. Number 2, Florida has numerous, it's always interesting to read these. These are, a reminder, these are reasons you don't want to move to Florida. Here's their explanation. Florida has numerous excellent medical facilities where patients can receive top quality care.
Oh, darn.
Especially if you're older and you're retired.
Yikes. As great as that is, though, healthcare can be costly in the Sunshine State. That's especially problematic for retirees who are more likely to need expensive medical care. While Medicare does cover most medical expenses for retirees over 65, there may still be out-of-pocket costs. These include deductibles, premiums, and copays. This is funny. You're explaining insurance to people who have been dealing with it for decades. There are also costs like long-term care, dental care, and vision care that are typically not covered. Plus, Florida's aging population could further push prices upward for everyone. Again, everybody is there, so it's going to cost a little bit more.
Whoa. What's a copay?
Yeah. If you made it this far, don't even worry about it. Just pay that bill when it shows up.
That argument is just against getting medical treatment.
Yeah,
like that has anything to do with Florida.
Maybe go live in the central west area of the country and die.
Yeah, you could go die somewhere else. Florida's kind of
but they
have a lot of medical care there. I guess I'll have to admit that.
And it's fantastic.
And it's good.
Well, my other question about that would be too is how are they comparing the cost of medical care? So is it people spend more money on medical care in Florida just as general in a whole? Because if they do, well, yeah, there's retired people there that require more medical care. So it's just more volume going on. Or are they comparing it like a broken finger costs this much in Illinois versus this much in Florida?
There are no statistics in their explanation. And I will add, this isn't just Yahoo. This is Yahoo Finance. I carry on. Retirement communities may be expensive. In addition to healthcare costs, there is also the cost of retirement communities, which is something many retirees eventually need. On the plus side, retirement communities offer many seniors a comfortable and welcoming lifestyle. However, these communities can be expensive in Florida. The real cost might vary significantly depending on things like where the community is located and the fees it charges. But some retirement communities charge significant fees for maintenance, security, and other services. If you see yourself living in one of these communities, investigate the rates in Florida. Yeah.
So here's some great things about retirement communities. You don't want to go there, though.
Yeah. I don't, again, no comparison statistically to other states in this Yahoo Finance article that's just a hit piece on Florida.
It seems like the headline is the main hit
It's
piece.
like, you don't need facts. You don't even know what a copay is.
Well, it also sounds like they're just saying, hey, being retired is expensive.
Yeah. It is. That's why you say for it. Call Thomas Elbig. The next one, you might get hit by a hurricane.
Ooh, ouch,
Now,
that would hurt.
You don't get hit by a hurricane in Kansas.
No.
I guess that's true.
You don't get hit by a hurricane in Missouri and Illinois. You might get hit by one of 7 tornadoes.
No joke.
That took place this weekend. Florida is known for being at risk for hurricanes, which can cause severe damage to property and be costly to repair. The risk can be significant depending on where you live in Florida. Plus, the risk of a hurricane damage may increase due to climate change.
Oh, there it is.
The Atlantic, I am asking for some of that global warming here in the Midwest.
Increase due to climate
The Atlantic
change.
hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, putting you at risk for a large portion of the year. This is one reason the average homeowner's insurance premium is $1,981 in Florida, making it the 10th most expensive state in the country for homeowners insurance. I wonder what the other 9 are.
It's the 10th?
That's what it says.
That's not even that bad.
And you're trading it off for the other months where it's Florida.
Yeah, right.
Not hurricane season. Florida still seems better than, I would love to visit Montana, but
Yeah.
Not where I'm looking like, oh, they got cheap property up there. There aren't many retirement homes. I don't know why. Because of the cold makes your joints ache. You may need flood insurance.
Well,
in much of the country, flood insurance isn't something people think about as a necessity, but it's often required in flood-prone areas, which includes much of Florida. Homes with government-backed mortgages in high flood risk areas are required to have flood insurance. It isn't federally required if you have a mortgage from a private lender, but they may still require it. The average cost of flood insurance in Florida is a little over $600. However, premiums may vary significantly depending on where you live and your property's risk assessment. This is interesting to me because you're comparing flood insurance to other places and the requirement of flood insurance there. But if you live in a place where mine subsidence is an issue, that's just something you really have to worry about and will be required in a lot of different places. Is it in Missouri as much as it is in Illinois? There's a lot of that in Illinois for sure.
Yeah, where we are, there is.
But it's if you look like earthquake coverage. I was just talking with Laura Michael Insurance because we switched our stuff over to Laura Michael Insurance. She's wonderful. You should check her out. But, she was talking about the possibility of adding earthquake coverage. She's like, it doesn't cover an earthquake. I go, what happens if there's an earthquake? She goes, you call the government. And I'm like, crap. But the cost of earthquake insurance and when she was explaining all of the different things that you have to do in order, if there is an earthquake and everything is destroyed, the amount that it pays out and the destruction that has to be done, the complications that you have to go through, and the fact that we don't have, knock on wood, those kinds of destructive earthquakes here. She offered it to us. We made a decision on it. But if you're talking, would these people advocate you living in California? Because if you're going to California, are they going to write an article about why you should retire to California, but also be aware of the earthquakes that could destroy everything and mudslides and all of that stuff that comes with it and fires?
Yeah, it really depends on where you live because no matter where you go, there's some sort of natural disaster that you're prone to in that part of the country.
Yeah, that's interesting too because I was trying to figure out where the most expensive insurances are, and the lists are all different. The top 10 are all different orders, but it's pretty much the same states. And it's states like Texas and Oklahoma, which tornadoes. You've got Louisiana and Mississippi. Floods and hurricanes. Florida's hurricanes. I'm not really sure what it would be in Colorado, Nebraska, again, tornadoes. Massachusetts and Rhode Island kind of wrap it up. Oh, and Kansas. And Kansas would be tornadoes.
Where do you go to be completely untouched by
You don't.
Mother
I think you
Nature?
probably go to Eastern Oregon. So if you go to Eastern Oregon, you
mean
probably have
Western Idaho?
Yeah, Western Idaho.
great Western Idaho.
Greater Idaho.
Yeah, if we ever get annexed or separate down here, I want to be like Greater Missouri.
Me too.
Just
or
to be
Kentucky.
Like, oh, you wanted me to move over there, huh? That's what you wanted me to do? I guess what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to be Greater Missouri, and we're going to be even redder than you are over there, which is not even possible.
And now Missouri has both sides of this part of the Mississippi. What are you going to do about that?
If we could hand the city to Illinois and just somehow or another swoop into Missouri around us, that'd be great.
Illinois can draw that map.
Property taxes can be high. This is where it gets interesting. The average property tax is 0.89% in Florida, which puts it right in the middle in terms of property tax rates. However, even Florida's relatively modest property tax rate can still result in significant property tax thanks to the state's rapidly rising home costs. For example, 80.89% paid on Florida's median $345,000 home would equate to $3,070.50 in property taxes per year, which is less than half of what I pay in
I was going to say, wah, wah.
yeah, I am not sad about that. Plus, property tax rates may vary depending on where you live within the state. Property tax rates may vary by city, county, and school district. This means you could end up paying even more in property taxes if you move to Florida. I'm going to add on to this one, the very last point, the 7th point. Don't forget sales tax. One thing that sometimes draws people to Florida is its lack of income tax. On the one hand, this could be seen as a good thing for retirees, many of whom live on a fixed income. But don't forget state and local sales tax, which is 7.02% in Florida. That can significantly impact retirees when they purchase goods and services. I'm pretty sure Collinsville is somewhere near 10%. It's like 9% or something like that.
I think certain parts of it, like right off the interstate, certainly is.
That sounds less than what it is in O'Fallon.
I'm looking it up. Because that sales tax amount isn't.
What did it say Florida's was?
It's like 7.02.
Collinsville, Illinois is 8.1%. And I think where my husband used to work in Collinsville selling appliances at a store that no longer exists, and it was 9% something, but it might have been in a TIF.
What? Why don't we move to Florida?
I don't know. That's why people are like, you're going to move to Missouri? And I'm like, if I'm moving?
Yeah.
I am going to take my chances on hurricane season and flooding and gators. Because it won't feel much different than what it's like to live in Illinois. Just warmer and sunnier.
Taking my talents to Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that article did the exact opposite it was supposed to do.
These people don't understand what it's like to live in a red portion of a blue state.
No, they don't. No, because that's exactly right.
They may know blue cities in blue states, but they don't understand what it's like to be on the outskirts of these incredibly deep blue states that are dictated by geographically small areas that are just deep blue.
And all these little areas, whether they be very low populated rural areas or suburban areas like we live in, they have to deal with the bad fiscal management from the top too. They got to figure out how to make money to support their own police. And so it's all you know what rolls downhill.
The Google search that I did, that 8.1%, that's the minimum combined 2023 sales tax rate, and that includes state, county, and city sales tax. So you pay 8.1% on whatever you buy. There's an 8.1% add on there. But if it's in a TIF, if it's in a special district where they get to collect more money from you, it's going to be higher than that. I know that there are places in the past that have had double digits. That's unbelievable. And if you're in those communities and you know that that's the case, then you might ask yourself, is it better for me to drive to the city over to pay less? And this is on top, like all of these things, like you said, that is a list of things taking place in Florida that living in a blue state controlled by a hyper blue city, every single one of those points is that they're saying is bad is still better than it is to live in Illinois.
And some of them they're admitting aren't even bad. I mean, they're going, well, yes, we understand you don't have an income tax if you live there, and that would be great.
Did you it's tomorrow's tax day, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys do your taxes?
Oh, yeah.
Saturday.
Yep.
I hate it.
Everybody did it.
I hate it so much.
And 3 of us have to pay taxes in 2 states and a city.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then federal. You see that income tax that you're paying, that state income tax? Live in Florida? Not there.
Yeah, and it's higher than it was.
And a lower sales tax.
Yes, and a lower sales tax and a lower property tax. Even though you have to pay more for a house, you probably don't even have to pay more for a house in a lot of parts of the state.
It's unbelievable. By the way, we're going to take our talents to Orlando in 19 days.
19
Oh, we're
days?
under the 20 mark.
Yeah.
Here we go.
How you feel about that?
I need a pack.
You have time.
I need to start now.
No, get her out of here.
I'm
Go,
dying
Hannah.
at the single female on the show being like, I'm running out of time. I need to pack. I pack for Florida. When I go to Florida, I pack starting at like 11 p.m. the night before we go. You can ask my husband. It drives him crazy.
That's impressive.
That makes me itchy.
Next time
that
you
may
can
be
see
a
her.
different problem.
If you would like to support our trip to Disney World, we're taking the show turns 5 on April 23rd, and we are going to go for a 2-night, 3-day whirlwind of a trip where we are going to saturate Brad and Hannah with their first real experience of Disney World with as much as we can get, and Ryan's going to do Disney World the way I tell him to. Is that right? That's your request.
I have signed up to do that.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it because you know everything, and I've been a couple times and haven't even ridden all the rides yet.
I do know a lot about it, and I've got spreadsheets, and I have some surprises for you guys along the way. If you want to support us in this trip, if you want to say congratulations on 5 years, do me a favor. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We want to get to 10,000 subscriptions. We need to get to 6,000 first. Would you be a part of that? We would appreciate it. The YouTube live chat poll we'll discuss when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
So FoleyDentalGroup.com if you're looking to schedule an appointment with a new dentist, or if you've been to Foley and you just haven't been for a while, I want you to consider calling them at 618-288-9670. Let's talk about sleep disordered breathing in adults and in kids. 80% of adults with moderate or severe sleep apnea go undiagnosed. That's pretty crazy. 90% of children with sleep disordered breathing symptoms also go undiagnosed. I think people usually think of sleep apnea as being an older, probably male type of issue, but women absolutely deal with sleep apnea, and kids do also. Your dentist may be one of the first providers to even notice that these signs exist, which includes teeth grinding, mouth breathing, snoring, night sweats, bedwetting in children as well. Undiagnosed sleep disordered breathing puts you at a higher risk for heart problems, stroke, chronic allergies, chronic fatigue, and often is misdiagnosed as ADHD in children. Foley Dental Group can walk you through all of the symptoms and the signs of this and see if any of these concerns fit your sleep disordered breathing problem that you don't even know that you have. 618-288-9670. Call them at 618-288-9670 and tell them that Annie sent you. You can find them online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Cardinals fans, baseball is back.
Down the line! Does it stay fair? You bet! It's a slammer!
Catch every pitch from every St. Louis Cardinals game live with News Radio 1120 KMOX on the free Odyssey app.
That's gone! Dylan Carlson!
The voices you know, the team you love.
It is a goner for Arenado!
Your St. Louis Cardinals, your Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app today.
Sharpshooters Indoor Range can facilitate all types of experience levels. CCW courses instructed every month. Check sharpshooterstl.com for availability. Private training is available daily. Sharpshooters Indoor Range can host large group and corporate events with catering from Sharpshooters Pit and Grill. Thursday is always Ladies' Day from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Rent your firearm with the Try Before You Buy wall. Sharpshooters Indoor Range on Gravois in St. Louis. Visit sharpshooterstl.com for full details.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you hate standing on concrete floors because of foot, knee, or low back pain?
I couldn't stand on hard surfaces. The pain would get so severe that I couldn't stand it.
Tired of living in pain?
I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day.
You need comfort in your life.
Now I have no foot pain and I can wear any dress shoe that I want.
Good Feet fits in all your shoes. Ladies, you can now be comfortable in your favorite high heels. Good Feet. No shots, no surgery, no medication.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations. On Olive, west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborns.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
The once-a-year jewelry event everyone waits for is here. Starting Friday, Diamonds Direct takes value to a whole new level with an extra 20% savings on just about everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement ring mountings included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in-store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Diamonds Direct store-wide spring event starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Keeping you connected and aware.
In the world, the country, and the community.
And offering more ways than ever to listen conveniently. Tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk or download the Odyssey app. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Out of the doorway, the bullets rip. To the sound of the beat, yeah.
People are commenting on the YouTube Live right now about different things that they've done at Disney World. And have you been to the Monsters, Inc. laugh floor before, Ryan?
I don't know that I've even heard of it.
That
Perfect.
sounds awesome.
It's a comedy show.
Oh, no, we didn't do any of the shows.
That's not A level, but it's very high on the rain delay plan.
I can't wait for this trip just to tell you all the great ideas I have for rides.
I literally said to Ryan this weekend, Ryan better not be like, okay, guys, here's what we're really going to do. I said it because he was asking me, like, what, because he helped me put together our schedule and everything. He goes, what does everybody want out of this trip? Because my husband and I have been plenty. We're going back again with our family in the summer to Disney World, and I wanted to take you guys to have this experience so that you could, when I talk about why I like it so much, you guys could kind of see what we've learned over time. And Jared's like, well, what do they want out of it? I go, well, Brad and Hannah both went when they were too young to really remember anything, and that would have been for you in the early 90s?
Oh, I'm
Late
thinking
80s?
80s. Yeah.
Late 80s? You were born in 83?
Yeah, 83 is when I was born. So it's 88, 89, something like that.
So you don't, what memory do you have?
We had those felt Mickey Mouse ears that looked like a little
Like a hat
skull
with ears?
cap with
Yeah.
ears. That's what I remember. And I remember asking for a Goofy hat and my dad saying no. And that's all I remember.
And I think you've told us that you want to get a Goofy hat while you're there.
Yes.
You're like 38 years later. Hannah, when did you go?
I think I might have been 6.
What's your memory?
I remember Space Mountain waiting in the line, and it was really dark in there. I don't remember the ride itself.
Did
but
you
I
ride it?
Yeah. I don't remember it, though. I just remember it being dark.
Hannah keeps saying she wants to be surprised by everything, but from what I understand, you're getting sucked into the like Instagram culture.
Yeah, now all this stuff's popping up on my Instagram, and I'm trying to turn my head to it, but some of it looks really interesting. So
it is. It is.
I've watched a little bit of the fireworks show, and I've been impressed so far, but I'm trying to get away from Disney
Wait and see
Instagram.
it. And Brad, you haven't done much research at all.
No, I've done no research.
You just see what comes through Instagram too.
What's fed to me, and a lot of the stuff that's fed to me on my Instagram feed is like tips and tricks.
I think you've done a little bit more Disney investigating than I have.
I
Because
don't
you've
think-
sent me stuff. I'm like, hey, I don't want
That's
this.
just stuff that comes up to me.
I don't want it. I want to be surprised.
So you both are wanting to be surprised. You don't really have much exposure as to what you're getting yourself into or not. So I will be your guide. Ryan, you've gone several times in the last couple years.
Twice.
And so you have experienced it. You were the captain of the Wiggins ship at Disney.
Yeah, I was in
It's a lot.
control. It's a little too much. Well, it's a little too much because nobody else, I knew nothing, and nobody else really wanted to do any research, so I felt like I had to. But I don't love going. I like doing just enough research where there's kind of an outline and then filling it in as I go. It's almost like drawing a coloring page.
Disney's not up for that
And
right
you can't. No, you
That's
got
not what they've
You
set
got to
up.
plan too much, and so going with you is actually my relaxation.
Yeah, we're going to try to do as much as we possibly can. We're going for quality over quantity most of the time, but sometimes if the biggest, best ride is a 3-hour wait and you can do 10 other B quality things, you might be better doing that. So I have a pretty good handle on all of those things and a nice little outline laid out for us. And as I said before we went to the break, I have some surprises along the way that I'm excited to share with you guys. So 19 days, Saturday morning, we are leaving. And if you would be so kind as to support us by subscribing to our Annie Frey YouTube channel and following us on our Instagram account at the Annie Frey Show on Instagram and Annie Frey on YouTube. We are going to share a lot of stuff there, and we're truly handing ourselves over to Hannah to make us look good on Instagram, right?
Yes, I have some things planned to get us out on Instagram, and we're going to have some good content.
Perfect. The YouTube live chat poll today, if you're going there to subscribe right now, I want you to consider voting in our poll. It's always right there in the live chat portion of the daily live broadcast on YouTube. How do you feel about Bud Light? I have 3 choices for you. Never drinking AB products again, just fine, no concern, or not purchasing for now. And I mean, I'm just going to answer this first right now is probably C, not purchasing for now. I'm not really a beer drinker, but we do always have Anheuser-Busch products in our house regularly. My husband is happy to support what felt like the home team, even though InBev has been it's European, right?
It's
Belgian.
Is it? I thought it was South American. Whatever. Belgium's in South America, right?
Yes.
Well, then I guess I'm right again.
I can't wait for you to navigate us around World Showcase at Epcot. Come right over here.
Come over here to Tokyo. This is a part of the Middle East you've probably never seen.
Russia.
Bucharest.
Yes.
Why are we in Asia?
I'm going to say not purchasing for now. I don't love boycotts, but I do love people. Somebody commented this in our live chat before, and the question is is this an organized boycott? I don't really think it is. I think that Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light specifically just took such a wrong turn that enough people naturally go, I'm not feeling this right now. I'm going elsewhere. I think a lot of those people are able to be won back, but in my opinion, you have to do something to win the people back. You have to be able to prove it. Listen to Don Jr.
I'm not, though, for destroying an American and iconic company for something like this. Trust me, the memes have been so good. I'm sitting there chopping that. I want it. But when I actually look into it, I'm not going to blame the whole company for the inaction or the stupidity of someone in a marketing campaign that got woke as hell. The company itself doesn't participate in the same leftist nonsense as the other big conglomerates. Frankly, they don't participate in the same woke garbage that other people in the beer industry actually do, who are significantly worse offenders when I looked into it.
First of all, I cannot hear Don Jr. and not think he's doing a really bad impression of his dad.
I was thinking the same thing.
It is what it is. I listen to what Don Jr. is saying, and I think he's right about something, which is the actions of this marketing exec don't reflect the whole of Anheuser-Busch. But you hired her. She did what she did. Now you have to answer to it. It's an unfortunate position for you to be in, but AB, you're going to have to do something to get back to the roots and the understanding of what has made AB a successful company up until this point. And we read last Friday when that response from the CEO hit, I read the whole thing on the air. People are saying it's not an apology at all. If you don't want to take it as an apology, your purchasing decisions are your purchasing decisions. I think that in this day and age, they listed off law enforcement, military, the heartland, hardworking people, patriotism. Everything that they listed in there was a high five to what Americana actually is. Boldly say it and earn back the people who you've pushed away. I think it's possible that they could do it. I don't really care if they are Republican donors or not. Just because you give money to the Republican Party doesn't mean I'm going to be okay with you doing things that I disagree with. But I also don't feel like this is especially the way the left does mass hysteria, boycotts, canceling. This is just people going, there's a lot of other options out there other than Bud Light, and right now I'm picking something else. That's my opinion. And I would say for my family or for me, in my money, it's probably C, not purchasing for now. What do you think, Ryan?
I'm also a C, not purchasing for now. I do drink Bud Light. I like Bud Light. I don't drink a ton of beer though, so they're probably not going to feel it from me because I don't drink enough for them to notice that little Ryan Wiggins is not drinking his one lager per quarter. But that said, I do like the beer, and I'm still not going to drink it, at least for now. They can win me back. That's why I'm choosing C.
Don't you want them? Aren't you rooting for them to do that though?
I am. I would like to see them come out, and so I think that press release they issued was a step in the right direction. I think that was them admitting that they screwed up.
Yeah, and it's important.
And that's good, but that's not enough in this instance. I want to see the boycott, in this case, work. And for the boycott to work, they got to really feel it, and they have to make a change. They haven't made a change yet. They've just sort of acknowledged that they've had a stock price
Do we
fall.
know if the marketing person
Not
was let
fired
go?
yet. No, not yet.
That would be a change.
Yeah,
So,
that would be a change.
Ryan is talking about how he doesn't drink a whole lot of beer. Brad, you don't drink any beer, but I would imagine if you were in a position where you were entertaining people and maybe you were going to get some beer for family that was going to come over if you were going to celebrate something at your house or whatever it might be, you might have to make a purchasing decision. Or if you wanted to buy somebody a beer, you might be less inclined to spend the $6 or whatever it might be on a bucket of Bud Light.
Hypothetically speaking, yeah, that's where I'm at. I wouldn't buy it. If I purchased it right now, if I was a beer drinker, if I was a beer purchaser, I would be off Bud Light. But I'm kind of with you guys on that, whereas I would be, no, you got to win me back because like you were saying, I believe in the carrot and the stick. And you take the stick to somebody when they're doing something that you don't want them to do, but when they do stuff that you do want to do, then you reward the behavior that you want. And when you do that, you get more of the desired behavior. It's like, what is it, classical conditioning or something like that?
Carrot and stick is a really interesting way to put it because what could be to happen right now is the carrot and the stick. Like, listen, Anheuser-Busch, you made this mistake, and this is not where we are. We're going to lead you to where we are, and you can react to it, and you can follow us there. What canceling is no carrot, just stick. Beat the hell out of whatever it is that did the grievous thing, and try to kill them, essentially, and make it so they never come back. I don't think people win that way.
No. You've got to persuade them to come back, and what Bud Light wants from you most of all is your money. And so they will do what you want to have you buy their product. Therefore, whenever they're not doing what you want, you don't buy their product. When they make a change, like Ryan pointed out, then you reward that behavior with that reinforcement and you buy their product.
You know what, really quick, too, Bud Light is such a beloved brand, especially here in St. Louis. I mean, I think even outside of here, though, that this could be an opportunity that if Bud Light really did change courses and they said, you know what, forget all this woke crap. I'm going to go with the hardworking men in America or whatever they put in that press release.
And women.
And women. Whatever.
Why does it have to just be about men now, huh?
Well, I don't mean to be a divider
really
of people.
switched it up.
But if they really went all in and said, you know what, we're really going to get rid of all this crap. We're going to be the working man's beer, the working woman's beer, whatever. I really think that they not only could win all those people back, I think they'd see an increase that people would return to them in greater numbers.
I also think that if what they need to do is they need to get behind a message that everybody can get behind. And to me, that's the most troubling thing. I don't know that there's a message that everybody can get behind.
I don't either.
The idea of loving your country is supposed to be the message that everybody can get behind. The actual message that is being sold right now is hatred for your country.
Yes. Yeah. That's countercultural to say, you know what? America's pretty good. Oh, okay. I guess that is counterculture now.
Hannah, I said earlier in the show we weren't going to start every conversation with, Hannah, you're 21.
Let's do it again.
Hannah, you're 21. Are you buying Bud Light products now, or do you feel like you're never drinking AB products again, or just find no concern?
I voted for C, not purchasing for now. I definitely knew I wasn't going to be option A, never drinking AB products again. The second option, B, that's just fine, no concern. I couldn't vote for that because I definitely do have concern with this and I don't think it's fine. So I voted for C, not purchasing for now. I could see myself purchasing AB products in the future. I don't drink beer, but I really like the Bud Light seltzers. And I was impressed with AB's apology. I think that they owned up to the mistake. I would love to see the marketing director be let go. I believe she should be. But
Which, by the way, would be a result of a boycott, not cancel culture. That's what a boycott is. That's ground up.
I want them to do this. I want them to come out with a marketing campaign, and it's a white screen, and it's a Bud Light sitting there looking all cold and icy and stuff. And I just want it to sit there, and I want it to say over the can, I just want it to say beer. And then I want to say just beer. And then I want to say just really great beer. And then I want Brett Kavanaugh to put his head in and go, I still like beer. We'll be right back.
If they do that, I'm buying it.
No sound but the sound of speed. Machine guns ready to go. Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Out of the doorway, the bullets rip. To the sound of the beat. Yeah.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Yeah. Hey.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes, stlouis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.stlouis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000, and get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Warmer days are coming. Time to schedule your annual AC system check for as little as $15 a month. For any residential or commercial HVAC services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show
Another key prosecutor in Kim Gardner's office quit in dramatic fashion last week. We're going to talk about it Monday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Change, 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 change.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Is it easy for us to pull up the rap from Ryan from before? Is that cut yet?
It is not cut yet.
Are we going to put that up as a YouTube short?
I think we should.
I mean,
I'll talk
seriously,
to Anna
folks.
about that.
Ryan rapped earlier in the show, and he did it to try to show Hannah up. He demanded his time.
Yeah.
And we're trying to reach the kids. Is there anything more senior citizen that we could do?
No. No. Oh, well, I guess we could try to write an emo song. Is emo
No.
still cool?
No, that's us.
That's us.
I did. Hannah,
What's cool?
you're 21.
Number 3.
Is emo a thing?
No.
I think emo. I think we had the Blink 182 alternative, kind of the angsty thing, but like angsty and angry.
Yeah.
And also, they weren't taking it too seriously, which is the great divide that existed sometime around when us senior millennials or centennials, I feel like we were the last generation that was not allowed to take yourself too seriously because nobody else took you seriously for anything. Isn't that the big delineation? Like Gen X, they are that way for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Gen X is not taking anything seriously if they don't need to.
Mm-mm.
I feel the same way. Like there are things in my life that I take infinitely seriously. And if it's not one of those things, But then you get the idea of social media enters center stage, and you can put your heart and soul out there for the world to see, and everybody's got to take everything so stinking seriously. Isn't that the basis of the whole problem? I think it is. I think it's the whole problem.
Yeah, it's certainly amplified young people. Social media has just amplified young people's voices to the point where now they think, and actually probably are right, that they have much more influence than they should.
Well, I don't even know so much as that they amplified young people's voices as much as it is they amplified young people's or anybody's sense of self-importance. Like,
you can quantify it with statistics.
Yeah.
Thumbs up, likes, follows.
Right. And then the other part of that is too is like, I remember when people would post pictures of their food or their dinner or whatever. And I remember when that first kind of really started happening, I'm like, I don't care. Reading social media posts about, okay, today I went out and got the parts for the washing machine and then came home and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't care. I never understood what the purpose of social media was. The only reason I have a Facebook page is because my friend, when I got to college, said, no, you need to have one. And he made one for me.
And when it first came out, you had to have a college.edu address to be on it, and you talk smack on everybody. And you posted crazy pictures of what you did that week, and it was just people who were at and in college. And then they're like, oh, we're opening it up to everyone, and everybody panicked. It's like, oh my gosh, how do I hide everything that I've posted on here? And now people are going to try to troll my Facebook page. I was super boring in college, so waste your time. Go for it. But when social media first came on the scene, I'm pretty sure Mark Zuckerberg brought Facebook onto the scene in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I are like 30 days apart in age. We have very close birthdays, 1984, once again. And the idea was it was a social thing for people who are at university or into college or whatever. And then, of course, it's grown into what it is right now. What is Facebook today? I count every third thing you see is an ad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. People just don't post on it anymore. I mean, I've got more friends, quote unquote, on there than I've ever had and less content than I've ever seen.
Do you feel like you don't see the things that that people are posting, or that people don't post?
It's probably a mixture of the two, but there just are less people posting for sure. Because stuff that I used to post that would get buried, now I'll post it and it gets more likes because I think they just need.
I think it's the opposite.
I think
for
they
me.
need people on there posting things. Maybe it's my generation too, that people are just sick of. People are sick of it, but they're still there.
Vicky says, according to my granddaughter, us old folks ruin Facebook, Hannah. Is that true?
I didn't know what it was
No,
anyway.
no. Old folks can't ruin Facebook because that's ours.
We're not
My
old.
generation doesn't even use Facebook, so
Yeah.
it must not be us.
Yeah, I'm talking social media strategy with Hannah. I'm like, we got to post more on Facebook, and she's so sad about it. She's like, if you love Hannah, go subscribe to the Instagram account right now because she is putting all of her efforts into that. And I'm like, we should be back on Facebook a little bit more. But it is not what it used to be.
It's not. These sites, they're so sad because it was such a good place to get news and updates from people you knew all at one spot. And they killed conservative voices so bad that most of the people I know, they either left Facebook entirely or they stayed there, but they just have a bad taste in their mouth when they use it a lot of times. So they use it kind of sparingly and not for politics. It's more just like, here's what my son did at graduation, that kind of stuff.
You want to get
the results are?
Oh,
yeah.
Anna, do you have anything to say for yourself?
You're 21. Why don't you do the poll results?
All right. How do you feel about Bud Light? Do you never see yourself buy, or are you never going to drink AB products again? Are you just fine? You see no concern with this, or are you not purchasing AB products for now? With over 215 votes,
nice.
50% of the people said that they are not purchasing AB products for now.
For now, 50%.
50% of the people said that. 37% said they are never drinking AB products again.
I wonder how many
37%.
people
Wow.
of those are like Brad.
they never did anyway.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And 12% of the people say that they are just fine, no concern with AB in their products.
That is huge. That is a big deal that only 12% say my buying habits have not changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. And right now we have 217 votes on that. I'll do a post-show poll on our Instagram about it to see if the results change at all. But yeah, the question is asking, how do you feel about Bud Light? Are you never going to drink their products again? Are you just fine? Or are you not purchasing their products for now? 50% of the people said they are not purchasing AB products for now. 37% of the people said they're never drinking AB products again. 12% of the people say that they are just fine, no concern.
Some comments here. I'm going to put Vicky. She said, I chose just fine. I don't drink much at all anymore. But if I do, it is Sierra Nevada beer. Jackie said, I'm not buying any AB products at the moment. I bought a water at the Battlehawks game yesterday. The line for cocktails was too long. LOL. Caca. All right. Well, we appreciate you participating with us each day. Like I said, we are going to Disney World for 3 days and 2 nights of a whirlwind of a celebration of our 5-year anniversary. If you'd like to support us and you want to follow us, we would appreciate it. Make sure you go subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We always love interacting with you there, and we appreciate your support greatly. Stick around, especially if you're streaming on that Odyssey app right now, because the Mark Reardon Show will take place coming up next. Don't go away.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, car